Yeah, going live a little early to talk to you all before we start this shit show, right? First of all, let me start by saying I hope everyone's weekend was grand. I hope everyone had a wonderful Monday. Mine was all right. Didn't get to do much yet. I've been watching this show Foundation. It's based off the Isaac Asimov's Foundation trilogy, right? Actually very close to a 10 out of 10 for me. It is related to the books, but it is not the books. If that makes sense. Which I find interesting as a way to approach things. It's well written, well acted, excellent aesthetics. Again, pretty close to a 10 out of 10 so far. Not through the first season yet, right? So it might change. But I'm 10 episodes in, 9 or 8, something like that. Yeah. Really good stuff. So that's nice. 𝕍𝖎, nice to see you. Running joke, heyo. Great Sag, nice to see you as well. Did you guys watch the Kidology stream or whatever with the drama? I know you kids like the drama and stuff. I saw bits of it before it got taken down. I guess she started it again. Interesting stuff. Drama though, right? So kind of confused what's going on. Don't really know. Kind of clicked out. Did something else. Filtree Gaming. I'm watching 50% of the audience. Yes, she was all for antipsychotics. Where do you stand on Israel and WhickTV? Where do I stand on Israel and Palestine? Oh, that's a tough one, right? Like Israel is guilty of terrible crimes. But Hamas and some of the organizations within Palestine that are working for its liberation aren't better. They're not the good guys, right? So it's a tragic situation. I don't know how to fix it. This is beyond my scope of my knowledge, right? I don't pretend. But anyone who's cheering on Hamas is not a good person. And anyone cheering on Israel also probably not. They're either ignorant or not a good person, right? Hard to be ignorant of Hamas because I think that our media has really focused on what they've done wrong, right? With the rockets and the blowing up of buses and coffee shops, etc. But Israel, it's hit or miss on how much proper information people get from that. Is what it is. 𝕍𝖎, heyo, I'm on YouTube too. Oh, nice to see you on YouTube. Radical AC, one state solution. It depends what you mean by one state, right? I don't know, right? Like I said, I have no idea how to fix this situation. It has been going on for decades. It is a problem. And neither side is working towards solutions. We got close to something, right? In the 90s with Bill Clinton and Yasser Arafat and things like that. But no, it didn't work out. This better not turn into a JQ debate. I really hope it won't. That is not my goal. We'll see. Geopolitics is complicated. Mostly, yes. There are a few, there is this tendency to overcomplicate as well, right? So there's this tendency for us to try to obfuscate some pretty clear truths by just saying how many connections there are and pointing to all these things. But at the end of the day, with a situation like Ukraine and Russia, I think is probably the most recent, clearest example of this. There is a right and there is a wrong. Again, devil's in the details, but at the end of the day, it's really clear that Russia is being the aggressor here and that Ukraine's trying to defend itself. It's just that simple. Was the USS Liberty incident accidental or intentional? Beyond the scope of my knowledge at this point in time. PLO had already lost its influence by the time Arafat went to Camp David, as far as I know. Our interlocutors are here, so let's bring them on. Yo, what's up, gang?
Yeah, what's up? Do you hear me good?
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's not breaking, right?
not yet.
Don't say that. Say
And we can see Beckett. in his bed head, I guess.
Wait, hold on. I just clicked myself out of there.
I did have a nap, so yeah.
Okay, hold
I had a
on.
nice nap. It was
I was just talking to my audience about. They asked me about Israel Palestine, and that's a hornet's nest, right? So I'm
Why
trying to communicate that I don't know enough to solve that situation. Sorry.
why I'm not coming on?
you have to run it through. So you have to run a camera through OBS, and then basically run that through Discord.
You know, we just did it before. What happened? Should I shut off OBS?
I don't know.
I got you. Hold on. Oh, the camera is on. Oh, I know what he's saying. I know what he's saying.
Give it a minute, gang. Give it a minute. We'll get some tech. In the meantime, okay. Thank you for showing up, all of you who are here. If you're watching this on YouTube, okay, remember to click that like button, click that subscribe button. It really helps me out. If you're watching this on Kick or Twitch, hit that follow button. Throw some subs and bits my way. Always could use your support. If you have questions during this debate, which will be a one-on-one format, but we will try to get to questions. Just make sure to send me a super chat or something, and I'll, if it's appropriate, I'll read it out to these two fine gentlemen here. Yeah. How are you doing?
I'm good, buddy. I'm good. I'm living the dream.
Capture.
Had a very long stream on Sunday. I'm still tired. Yeah, I'm good. What about yourself? You're looking nice. I'm glad you've abandoned the hoodie these days.
Am I looking homely?
You're always looking homely, buddy. You're my homely friend.
Fair enough. Omar.
I'm trying to hold on. I'm trying to see what I'm at.
Okay, give him a minute. Hopefully it'll work.
Okay, I go to OBS. What should I do? I break it?
I'm not.
Oh, on Discord, under the camera button, there's a little arrow at the bottom. If you just push that, and then it will have like a list of cameras, and one of them will be OBS camera.
Oh. Okay, wait. Still didn't do it. OBS.
That's good faith for you. I'm helping my opponent set up. See, I'm nice.
Zephyr Hashes, my short attention span is really enjoying the circling purple dots in the top right. I would love to see two dots debating geopolitics. We will get it. We will get it. Yeah, I know, gang.
What, like a 1D debate or something? Like,
huh?
I understand, right? Tech support's never fun, but we're gonna try to get our friend up and running so we can see his beautiful face. Hopefully it works. So bear with us for a brief moment while.
Yeah, sorry guys. Okay, what I do right now? Should I turn on OBS first or Discord? Because right now I'm on Discord right now.
So, again, if you click on the arrow, can you read us your options that you have?
Yeah. Okay. The arrow. Okay. Wait. It says okay. It's pop out.
Not the pop out arrow. No. So next to your camera button, turn on camera. There's a little down arrow. Click on that and read us the options.
I see it. Well, it says my camera.
Yeah. Does that have any other options?
OBS virtual camera.
Yes. Use that.
Oh my gosh, you're so smart. Wait, let me put on my OBS on.
Yeah, your OBS should be on at this point, right?
Yeah. Wait, let me put it on. I didn't put it on. Okay. I chose that camera, right? What's that OBS? Oh, wait.
This doesn't work. I don't know. I don't know what.
Not working.
Are you streaming, Omar?
No, not yet.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, if you've got.
Yeah. Okay. I did the thing you told me. Right?
Yeah, it's not working. Try turning off your OBS.
Huh?
Yeah.
Try turning off your OBS first.
Okay, don't worry. Okay, I'm gonna try to stream it later, but
exit it out.
Okay, we gotta X out right from here.
Yeah, From
Well,
no,
why
not
do
from
I?
here. From
Yeah, but why
OBS.
do I?
Just close down your OBS.
I
You can
close it.
open it after. Like, so after we get this working on camera, then you'll open your OBS and it should work. Right.
Okay, wait. It give me a lot of list of things. Wait. Okay, hold on. Right here. Okay. Okay, I'm looking handsome. Yes.
Okay,
There we
now it's
go.
working on that.
Right.
Excellent. Now
Wait.
open your OBS and then you should start streaming.
Wow. Okay, let's do. Okay, hold on.
Then I'll open it up again with the opener and do it right again.
Hold on. Okay. I got my OBS on, so I go to that thing we did before, right? Video capture, right?
Yep,
Eh,
it should have saved. You should be able to see us on your screen on OBS. I don't know.
Yeah, I see you looking handsome.
Yeah,
Okay,
then you should be good to go. You should be able to stream and should be no problems.
right. Let him start first, okay?
Yeah,
Okay, ready?
are we
Let me
ready? And
start.
I'll intro. So again, I'll intro the topic. I'll give each of you an opening statement, and then we'll get into it.
Yeah.
Are we ready?
Shit.
We set?
Hold on.
Oh, give him a minute. Apologies, gang.
I'm gonna take a beating today. Sheesh. Sorry, guys.
Okay,
Ah,
we good?
I'm good. I'm good.
Excellent. Okay. Welcome, one and all, to yet another episode of WhickTV, cross-ideological space where we come together to talk about issues both political and topical, cultural, from the silly to the serious. And today we have a show for you. We are going to be talking about the Iraq War, Saddam Hussein, U.S. military intervention, and all topics related to this. We have my friend Omar and Beckett to duke it out over this. Was Saddam actually a good leader? Did the U.S. military do wrong in ousting him? We're going to find that out today. But yes, I want to give each of these lovely individuals a chance to introduce themselves and give a brief opening statement, and then we'll just get into it. If you have questions in the audience, super chat them, and we'll try to get to them. We'll see how it goes. Are the audios bad? Like, can you guys not hear us? Okay, we'll find out. Anyway, with that, we're going to go to Beckett first, and then we'll let Omar go second. So, Beckett, go ahead. What you got for us?
Awesome. Thanks for having me on. Okay, so leadership doesn't exist in a vacuum. Leadership is something that we can look at and quantify across history and across time. We don't make arguments based on a leader being good because of what happens before or after him. We take things as they are. We don't look at the French Revolution and say that the reign of terror of Robespierre was justified because like France collapsed under Napoleon, or we don't say that the king would have been better while everyone was starving. Ultimately, these things are chains of events. Saddam Hussein oversaw a massive amount of oppression of his people. He oversaw multiple wars. He oversaw massacres. Ultimately, like he oversaw massive economic disparity, despite having a large oil-rich nation, and some of that is economic mismanagement. In fact, an awful lot of it. And then the other part is essentially just corruption. The arguments of looking back on leaders in sort of Middle East or developing nations, often like we point to people like Gaddafi and we look at the standard of living actually under Gaddafi and how that improves. And we can take those as singular things. I don't think that really applies to Saddam. And ultimately, through his mismanagement and lack of listening to the experts who were around him, particularly those who told him that going to war with Kuwait was a fucking insane idea and the West would absolutely intervene, who he then had executed, is a similar situation to the one we find Putin in, where he also didn't listen to anybody who disagreed with him and just listened to the yes men. We don't consider these strong leadership techniques. I'm sure we'll get into kind of like the surrounding geopolitical situation in the Middle East and America, but I think that's so complicated. I think we'll just see where we go. So
We will. Well, thank you for being here. I'm looking forward to your side of the argument. We'll see how it goes. Next up, Omar, please go ahead.
All right, hello everyone. I'm Omar from the Third Rail. I'm here tonight to debate with Saddam Hussein, a good leader for Iraq. Now, when we compare the good leadership, we cannot compare him as a mirror image of Western society or Western leadership. Iraq is the Bermuda Triangle. The Bermuda, I have a speech impairment, guys. The Bermuda Triangle of the Middle East. It is located at the spot of the geography where most all the greatest divisions of war in Islam happen. Shiism and Sunni got its birth in Iraq when they killed the Khalifa Ali ibn Abi Talib and his son. I know you guys don't know that, but I'm telling you that Iraq is a powder keg. It has Shiite, Sunnis, Christian, Druze. It had all sort of kind of religious belief, and they're all vying for power. Saddam Hussein was a member of the Ba'ath Party that was founded by a Christian in 1948. The Ba'ath Party means resurrection in English. Is based on the idea of Arab nationalism and Arab pan-nationalism, that religion should not play a role in society, that religion should be a private matter and not be involved in government. Saddam Hussein's relationship started, I think, in 1979. Under Saddam, there was a distribution of wealth. People, free university. You don't have that in the United States. The best colleges in Iraq. Free healthcare to every single person. You don't pay a dime. We don't have that in the United States. Every person who gets married or get out of college is given a $5,000 down payment on a house, and the house is subsidized by the government of Iraq. Saddam Hussein used to get all the poor, used to give out scholarship to poor Arabs and all over the country, bring them to Iraq and study in Baghdad. He used to pay for the education and give them $100 a month as a stipend. Saddam Hussein's mistake was the United States. After the 1979 revolution in Iran and the American hostages was taken by the Iranian, America needed to get back at Iran. They didn't know how, because they don't want to go into a direct war with Iran. What they did is they told Saddam in September of 1980, attack Iran, and because you need to get back some of the territory that, they have territory disputes. We'll support you with arms, money, and weapon. And the Arab Gulf said, we're behind you because we're scared of the revolution that's coming for Iran. Because they were scared that the Ayatollah Khomeini, the revolutions that was coming for Iran, was going to spread all over the Middle East. He attacks Iran. Iran, 50 million people. Iraq, only 15 million people. Iran had the best weapons because under the Shah. The Iranian-Iraqi war went on for 9 years, from 1980 to 1989. While the United States supported Saddam Hussein in Iraq, at the same time, we were selling weapons to Iran under the table. So in other words, we were killing both sides. So that was the situation. But Saddam was good for Iraq because they needed a strong, powerful leader. But if you compare his leadership to the Arab nation, to the Saudi Arabia, where women were not even allowed to drive, while in Iraq, alcohol was allowed, discos, bars, everything you wanted was there. It was like a Western society. And religion did not play a part in Iraqi's government, and he kept them under check. Did he make a lot of mistakes? Yes. But we cannot compare him to the leadership of Western governments. We have to compare him to the leadership of the neighborhood that he lived in and the way you have to act, because it's a tough, tough neighborhood. That is the Middle East. Thank you.
Okay, and with that, we'll get into it. If this is open discussion, feel free to have a back and forth. If I stop you, it's because A, you're talking over each other and no one can hear you, or I have a clarifying question I'd like to ask to try to understand or help my audience understand. So with that, the floor is yours. Go ahead. What do you think?
Yeah, I think there were some interesting points there. So I want to we'll come to the economic stuff because I just outright disagree with you. I think it looks good on the surface. It just didn't play out that way, and that's largely because of multiple factors. But most people in Iraq didn't have access to basic services. So even if the ideal was everyone should have those things, Saddam wasn't able to bring that to fruition, and because of the issues in the economy, it was one of the major driving factors of going to war with Kuwait. But we'll come around to those things because I think that's going to be a deeper thing. Let's just talk about Iraq and Iran for a second here. So yes, we were selling weapons under the table. We do this quite a lot to people we dislike, to be honest with you. The idea that the arms business is a business. I think we're pretty accepting of that. But again, this is why Saddam is not a good leader. He was in a position where America was more than happy to let him do whatever he wants. We have CIA documents from the time, like, admitting that they knew Saddam was using chemical weapons, and they did nothing about it because they thought it was justified to keep Iran down, and actually has further decreased the conditions in Iran, which has led to further extremism. If Saddam had just ridden that wave, he would still be in power now. In fact, post 9/11, he'd probably be like one of our most trusted allies, right? Because we need that power structure in the Middle East to keep things in check. It's one of the reasons we got so freaked out about Iraq and went to war with it and had to gather bad intelligence to justify that war. I also, just very quickly, and then I'll let you go. I agree with you. We can't judge him by standards of the West, and this is one of the arguments with Israel. When we talk about Israel, like, people often apply Western standards, and that is an unfair standard to apply to the situation in the Middle East. But that doesn't mean Saddam is good for the Middle East, and it doesn't mean he was good for Iraq.
Okay, sometimes people say he killed his own people. He got the Kurds. Yes, the incident did take place. You have to understand that Iran and Iraq were in a war of death. Iraq was losing the war, and in that area, the Kurds were helping the Iranian infiltrate Iraq. Now, when you have the whole state is about to fall, you're going to take a lot of crazy actions. For example, in the United States, we destroyed Waco. We killed 77 people in a fucking building. We in Philadelphia, an organization called MOVE, we threw a bomb and we burned the whole block because of 11 black people were in there, and we consider them extremists. Sometimes countries take extreme means to maintain the whole state. So when you are in a war and you are in a life and death situation, and Iraq was losing the war at the end, and a certain part of your country, like let's say for Texas, that the Texans were letting Mexicans get into the United States, of course you're going to take action. And the United States didn't care that it happened, because in the Security Council, when they wanted to condemn it, the United States abstained. And later on, we went to Iraq because he's has his own people. My friend, I could explain to you why the Iraqi war took place. It's very simple. During the war, Kuwait was stealing Iraqi oil. They were drilling. It's called the horizontal drill. They were drilling horizontally to inside Iraq territory, and they were stealing the oil. Iraq claimed almost $3 billion worth was stolen, but Iraq couldn't do nothing because it was in a war. So let's say we'll take care of it when the war is finished. So when the war is finished, they came to Kuwait and told them, "Listen, we know what you did." Then the Kuwaiti refused to accommodate and give back the money to Iraq. Then they flooded the market with oil. A barrel of oil was $8. Iraq told Kuwait, "Why are you doing this? Why are you flooding the market with oil? You are hurting us. We just came out of the war. We owe $80 billion. We need the money. Why don't you just do your quota so we could keep?" And I have this feeling the United States was putting Kuwait up to this, because Kuwait is not a country that could defend itself against Iraq. So you have two situations. Kuwait was stealing the Iraqi oil. Look it up. You could Google it, people. You got Google here. I'm not telling no lies. Second of all, they were flooding the market with oil and saturating the market, and Iraq could not function. It was about to collapse as a country. Iraq asked the Arab Gulf country for $10 billion loan, or to erase $10 billion was the debt. They said no. The United States ambassador, I think her name, let me see what her name, I don't have her name. What's that name of that idiot? Her name is 𝕵𝖎𝖙. When she went to visit Saddam told her, "What are we going to do with the issue with Kuwait?" She said, "As America, we have no position on Arab conflict." Saddam thought that was a green light to go into Kuwait. And don't forget, historically, Iraq claimed that Kuwait is part of its territory before the colonizers, British, cut it from Iraq. They called it the 19th government, or the 19th state, you want to call it in English.
At the end, but go on.
Yeah, they cut it in 1961. They were going to go to war with Britain over to take back Kuwait. They could not take it back. And the majority of the problem in the Middle East, it goes to 1921 when they cut off the Middle East into maps in Paris. I forgot the name of the treaty, but he should know. He has a British accent. Sounds like he has a British accent there. So this is what the issue is. That's why he went into Kuwait, and they did it on purpose. They like what they did to Poland right now. They took him right into Ukraine. Go ahead, Mr. Beckett.
Okay, so we're talking about this. I mean, look, I'm not saying that we can't like justify things. I'm not saying we can't explain things. But again, like when we're looking at the outcomes of those things, like this is kind of like the problem with the Falklands Isles.
Yeah.
Like the assumption was Britain wouldn't fucking do anything. We did. We beat Argentina into the ground, and it caused a blowback effect that basically dismantled a regime. That doesn't make these leaders good, even if they can justify things, because you have to consider
Yeah.
like the effects on
You know,
everything else.
Tony Blair apologized. You know that, right? Go ahead.
Yeah, okay. So, but the point is that the question is, was he good? Well, clearly not, because he took actions that got Iraq invaded twice. You can talk about the justifications and everything else. You can talk about whether, like, Kuwait deserved to be invaded. Surely, like, we're hearing that conversation in reference to Ukraine constantly. But again, like, we go, well, surely there are better ways to do that than situations that lead to the fall of your country. As for talking about the Kurds and everything else, it wasn't just the Kurds that Saddam oppressed. There was the oppression of the Syriac Muslims, the marched Arabs in the
Muslim?
like Shia
The Shiite.
Muslims.
Yes.
Shia Muslims. There is the Marsh Arabs in South. Is that there was displacement and persecution for them? Assyrians. Sorry, you're gonna have to forgive
The
me. My
pronunciations are very
gonna
British,
kill
but
me.
go on.
Yeah,
Iraq
which
was
was
a
an
secret state.
indigenous Christian majority group in Iraq. The Turkmen community, primarily concentrated in northern Iraq. The Yardis, which was a distinct faith, were also subject to discrimination and persecution. The accusations of ethnic cleansing towards Saddam were not just limited to the Kurds. So this idea again
That's
of
a big
like
word.
religious tolerance.
That's a big
is
word to use. His prime minister was Christian. I don't know how he's a president of Christian. The prime minister of Iraq, Tariq Aziz, is a Christian. I don't understand.
Sure, but at the same time, you can
Okay,
still
hold on.
see
He said
displacement
he was he said he was oppressing the Shia. The Shia are the majority in Iraq, and they fought for Iraq against a Shia country that is called Iran that has overwritten right now Saddam. So if he was oppressing the Shia,
There were
why would they
several
fight for?
uprisings.
Why would they fight for 8 years?
There were several internal uprisings.
No, there was not. There was uprising after the 1991 war when the United States told them to uprise. They uprised and they got killed. The whole idea, what I'm telling you, is that Iraq was a power keg. They needed a leader like Saddam Hussein to glue it together. Right now, what do you see in Iraq? You have the mullahs, you have these schools, Shiism schools. You have no leadership. You have the government being held hostage inside the green zone, whatever it's called. You have nothing. You destroyed all Iraq. Iraq right now has become nothing but a vessel or a state that belongs to Iran. Iran is all over the place. Iranian militia, Iranian people. In certain areas, it's all the land is Persian now. They took over Iraq. Now, what did you do with these wars? You handed Iraq to Iran. Why? Why did you? What Saddam Hussein never killed an American, never did any terrorism. He was at war with Bin Laden. He was against terrorism. So the whole idea, you ask yourself, why will you blow up a country that never did anything to us?
Okay, but again, like I'm not disputing those facts or points.
Yeah.
The question is, was Saddam good? And the outcome is what we have in Iraq now.
Saddam was
Now, if
good.
you want to say, but if you want to say that like all of this is to do
Yeah.
with just America, like Saddam couldn't have done anything, I think that's a fucking insane position to hold. Clearly, the decisions Saddam Hussein made led to the current situation. And if it's a question of like, well, like how are we treating people internally, Saddam was an oppressive, authoritarian leader.
Strong man.
Okay.
Not oppressive.
I have a question. Okay.
Yeah.
So, for Beckett, you
Sure.
mentioned he was an oppressive authoritarian leader. Can you give us some examples?
Sure.
You know.
I mean, obviously, like we've got the cases of mass political arrests. We've got the case where anybody who I think, what's a good example? Like people in his cabinet. There was, for instance, one of the doctors in his cabinet really early on. A medical procedure went wrong, and that doctor was basically arrested. And there's a statement from him of, "I'm glad I got out with my life." And his body was found dismembered the next fucking day. Like Saddam again murdered people. Let's be clear about this. Like the idea of due process trials were not really a thing. We can argue about how it looked from the outside and what the intention was,
Hold on.
but the reality.
So you're basing that he's an oppressive leader because he killed a doctor or he killed a couple of people. Is that it? Can I give you an example?
He killed hundreds of thousands of people. Let's be clear about
no, wait. Where did 100,000 people? Where? People
like
don't say that.
With the Kurds.
I'm from the region. He did not kill 100,000 people. 100,000 people got killed in the wars, yes. But did he deliberately kill 100,000 people? That's a Hitler almost thing. Listen. We killed people with drones. Obama killed thousands of people with drones. 90% of them were people at weddings, at funerals. They were civilians. Why is it okay for us to kill people and say, oops, we made a mistake, but somebody else who does it, oh, he must be a butcher, he's an oppressive piece of garbage, he's a murderer. We've been killing people for centuries. We have killed more people with drones, innocent women and children we have maimed in Afghanistan, in Yemen, all over the world.
We can have look. If you want to listen, if you want to take
what's the scale of oppression?
Where have I said anything about defending the West? You came into this and said we cannot judge by the standards of the West. I'm not sat here defending the West. I'm not. No. Hold on. Let me finish.
He asked you. No, hold on.
Let me finish. I'm trying to finish the answer. Like
enough.
No. Just one word. I'm going to give it to you. Then you go ahead. Then I'm just going to drink a cup of coffee. I want to ask you: he asked you what oppressive thing he did? He said he killed a doctor someplace. Then he covered 100,000. Do you have any proof? Don't throw these numbers. These are propaganda numbers. Don't do that.
Oh, fuck me. Like, okay, fine.
I don't want to fuck you.
Fine. If you want to make the argument that like he never did anything, Saddam did nothing wrong.
Something.
I mean,
he had
again, fucking hell. Like when we're talking about good leadership, though, if you want to talk about like America going over overseas and blowing people up with drones, like we could have that discussion and we could talk about whether America is good as an imperial power, but that's not the fucking question here. The question here is, was Saddam good for his own people? And the answer is no, because while you can point to America and say, well, they blow up people with drones, look what Obama did, and I may not even dispute some of those fucking points, we're not doing it to Americans. The British government is not like in a position where at any point I'm going to be assassinated by it for saying something they don't like. And that's the situation we're in. And if you want to make the argument that the Middle East is just like a powder keg where they have to rule in a way that if you say something inconvenient, it's understandable that a leader is going to have you executed in a fucking
Can I come in?
In a black site. I don't think that's a reasonable expectation of what the Middle East has been or should be.
I never said that Iraq was a democratic state. I told you we have to judge it by the neighborhood that lives in. If you go over our allies that we were supposed to be defending, like Saudi Arabia, women were not allowed to drive. They were cutting men's and women's heads in the streets. They were butchering. They had no rights at all. They are living. The wealth is in the hand of families. The Saudi family control all the wealth. The Kuwaiti family controls all the wealth. The UAE family control all the wealth. In Iraq, there was no family. He was a president, and he had an organization that kept him in power. And yes, there was he had to kill certain people because they're going to kill you because they're going to try to overthrow you. I'm not defending that part, but there was some distribution of wealth. You could read it. Just Google it.
I have a question for you, Omar.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sure. So you keep mentioning that there are times where a leader in the Middle East or in that region, that neighborhood, as you call it, must do certain things in order to maintain power. My question for you, my question for you, where is the line where even if they quote unquote have to do these things, if they cross this line, they are no longer a good leader? Where is that line for you? Is it 10 dead, 1,000 dead, 100,000 dead? What are we talking about here?
Okay, we're here to defend. I'm here to say that if Saddam Hussein was a good leader of Iraq, right? Is that what the show's about, right?
It is, yes. Okay. So for Saddam, how many can he kill?
I don't know how many he killed.
Leader?
There was a lot of wars. Hundreds of thousands got killed in the war. There was political assassination, yes, because I'm not defending that part. What I'm defending that if you saw Iraq's history after 1921, I think the British left. When the British left, it was never stable. The communists take over, then they kill everybody. They used to hang people in street, those streetlight poles. The communists, then the Ba'athists take over, then everything. Saddam made the mistakes of being pressured to go to war. The first thing he made the mistake was to go into Iran, and it was a suicidal mission to do. But he just listened to the West. What I'm saying here, Wick, is there was a distribution of wealth. People went to school free. People had free university. Christian lived good lives. Don't say he didn't oppress no Christian. The Christian left after the war. Go look it up. Christians been living there. The prime ministers or the prime minister of Iraq, who's the mouthpiece who used to go all over the world, is a Christian named Tariq Aziz. And there were a lot of Christian and Shia in the government because it was a secular government. Because the whole idea of the Ba'athist party was they are pan-Arabists mixed with socialism. They saw religion as like Karl Marx did, but they don't want to admit it.
Question for you. I've got a question for you.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's say we're judging by the standards of the region. Do you think that Kaiser Wilhelm was a good leader?
Who?
The leader of Germany in World War I. Do you think he was a good leader?
I don't have no idea with Germany. That's a European problem, you guys.
Okay, but the question is, do you think he's a good leader? Because this is
I don't know anything about it, but I can tell you that I don't know. But the only idea about about World War I was there was a lot of alliance and all that stuff and everything. Everything burst in the open.
Okay, so let me explain to you why I'm asking you.
Give me somebody modern. Give me from my time. I mean, don't
well,
give
no,
me
because we need like we're talking about extreme examples of what's happening in the Middle East.
Compared to somebody, compared to somebody in the Middle East.
Okay, well, no, but this matters because there are like through lines to this. We can talk about this with like Putin and Ukraine if you like, because there is a historic trend of leaders doing things that caused the downfalls of their country. Kaiser Wilhelm, like the decisions he made, led to World War I, and then in the long term led to Hitler. Now, we don't look at Hitler and go, well, Hitler was a terrible fucking outcome, so obviously the Kaiser was a good leader. We go, the Kaiser was a fucking terrible leader because the outcomes of his decisions led to fucking Hitler. Just because he didn't cause the Holocaust doesn't make him good. In the same way that when we look at like Putin, you can say like Putin's a strong leader. That's what Russia needs. I think most people will accept that you can't have a weak leader in Russia. We saw this under the USSR, but that doesn't make Putin good. That just makes Putin a strong man. Like Putin has overseen like major downfalls to the military and like has listened to yes men and actually has fallen into similar traps to the ones Saddam fell into.
Okay, according to UNICEF, I understand. I don't have I'm not informed of good with European history, especially going back that far. You know, maybe World War II. But I want to ask you something that we could. You said that Saddam killed his people, right? Imagine that almost 500,000 people died, children, from 1991 to 2001 because of U.S. sanctions. According to UNICEF, maybe almost 1 million and change of children died because of our sanction. So why do we excuse a murder of almost 500,000 children because of a policy toward a country? Then we say, oh, the guy he didn't like the doctor and they found him dead.
I don't see why that's relevant to this conversation.
It is relevant because it creates a situation in Iraq. That's what happened. That's why he went to war and all that stuff, because he was surrounded. He didn't have a chance.
But again, like you're comparing like the choices Americans made that affected the Middle East to the choices that Saddam made. But the choices that Saddam made affecting Iraq. And the question is, okay, so like let's talk about the sanctions. Well, were those decisions good for America? Yeah, probably. So, like, again, like, why is America's concern the Middle East? Like, America fucking up another country may not make that leader ethical, but the question of is that leader good for America might be absolutely. So, again, the question is, was Saddam good for Iraq? And I don't see why, like, America sanctioning, like, against Iraq is an argument that somehow Saddam is good because America does bad things. I don't see how that lines up.
Why was America afraid of Saddam? Why did we go to war? Our enemy was Iran. Iran took our hostages. Saddam was our ally. Saddam never attacked anything, never killed, never committed any terrorist attack in the United States. He was a danger to no one. And he was an ex-ally. As a matter of fact, Rumsfeld gave him a gun, AK-47 made out of gold. He was their boy in the Middle East. Why were they afraid that they had to blow up a whole country? What was the danger? He was a good leader of his country. He didn't give his oil away. There was no money. He wasn't giving them a cut. That's all it is.
I think there were like so there were a couple of there were a couple of reasons that we went to Iraq. I mean, we justified it through like you can talk about the intelligence stuff and whether that's bad intelligence or whether that's intentionally misleading intelligence. I think the Chilcot report puts it in like pretty much both camps, depending on like who and what we're talking about. And like,
Yeah.
I'm not going to dispute a lot of that. I wrote about it at university. Like when we're talking about like going to Iraq, a lot of this is to do with post 9/11 stabilization worries and concerns, particularly like towards Israel. And generally, like the growth of. Okay, well, I don't see. Hold on, let me finish.
The whole
Hold
Iraqi.
on. You've got to let me finish. Otherwise, it's just pointless.
I'm sorry. Take your
Because
time.
again, like, so you've got like the situation of like how things are going to affect Israel, but also general Islamic growth in the region. And the idea was, and this was an incorrect idea, I'm not defending it, that if we went into Iraq and basically rebuilt the regime like to one that we could completely trust, because again, Saddam Hussein went to war with Kuwait in the 1990s, so we didn't trust him to maintain that stabilizing influence.
We destroyed his army. There was no reason to go. He's weak.
Yes, and if he hadn't invaded Kuwait, he would have been fine. This is the problem.
After the Kuwaiti War, we destroyed the whole army in the highway of death. The whole idea was to get the Iraqi army out. He was weak. We had sanctions. We had no-fly zones. Iraq was a weak state. He was in. A matter of fact, he hated Islamic fundamentalism. He hated the people we hate, the people we made in Afghanistan, the Al-Qaeda we created, the American created, bin Laden that we created. He hated him, and he was in a state of war with these people. He was not a man who loved Islamic fundamentalism. He was not even religious. He used to drink himself to death all night. So it has nothing to do with that.
But again, I'm not disputing some of these.
But everything. Then what is the dispute? The man was under attack. Iraq. I ask you a question: if Iran was our enemy, if Iran was the most dangerous, the whole idea we went to war. You know, the war in Iraq. The plan was written before George W. Bush was. There's an article in the Jewish newspaper called Hurts, The White Man's Burden. 25.
I'm not going down fucking conspiracy theories with you. I don't want to go down.
It's not conspiracy.
No, because these conversations, whenever we talk about like,
I'm talking about the neocons, Wolfitz and Pearl and Bill Kristol. This is not conspiracy. I'm not into conspiracy. Hart's newspaper is like the New York Times of Israel. It's a Jewish newspaper that told them that was 25 neocons that started the war in Iraq that wanted the war. 23 of them were Jewish Zionist hawks.
Okay.
Huh?
Yeah.
We're going. Don't get scared there. I know we got to protect the class. You know, we can't talk. Yeah, go ahead.
Question. But then Beckett, I want to hear your response to
I don't know. You're cutting off with me. Go ahead.
Sure. So I have two questions actually for you, Omar. So the first one would be, was, in your opinion, Saddam justified in declaring war on Kuwait in the 90s?
Was it justified? No, but it was
correct.
It was necessary. Because
Elaborate
if he didn't,
on that.
I'm going to tell you why. Because Kuwait was probably told by the United States. You see, they have a quota. You know, when they sell oil in this country, they have to keep a price. It has to be like, it was $20 at that time to stay afloat. These countries, because that's the only income they have. So imagine you just came out of a war, you're $80 billion in debt, which is a lot of money to them at that time, and you're telling Kuwait, why are you saturating the oil market with oil? Why don't you just sell the quota you're supposed to sell? The barrel of oil is only $8. And if you continue down this lane, we're going to go bankrupt and it's going to destroy our economy. Just sell what you're supposed to sell. They said no. They were stealing his oil. Could you reimburse us for the oil you were stealing during the war? And we knew you were stealing it from the border, but we didn't say nothing. So it was it was a life and death for Iraq. If they continue, they will collapse economically. And Kuwait was put up to this, I think, by the United States. They needed to bait Saddam probably. I don't know why. Because Saddam never did anything wrong to the United States. Okay. He doesn't have any weapons. He doesn't even have nuclear reactors. Iran has nuclear reactors.
But regardless of like, I understand that there is reasons for going into these places, right? There's reasons that leaders give.
Yeah,
right?
it's national security.
Let me finish the question.
Go ahead.
Let me finish prefacing. So Putin justified or attempted to justify his war in Ukraine by citing NATO expansion. He cited Nazis in Ukraine. He cited all these conditions, some of which just weren't true, but some were. And he said, because of this, I am justified, and I think it's necessary for me to go in to Ukraine. We know that's not true. Now, when it comes to Saddam and Kuwait. I know that Saddam said all these things, that Saddam gave these justifications, but I'm asking you, in your opinion, was he justified? Does that make sense?
Yes, he was justified.
Okay.
Because I tell you why, the difference between Ukraine, Putin is an aggressor in Putin. He didn't have to go into Ukraine. He was not drowning economically. Ukraine was not fighting him economically or military. What he did, it was a bait. They just took him in there to destroy him. It's a cheat. They put a cheat out for him. He went in there, he bit, now they're going to destroy Russia. There's a difference there. Iraq claims that Kuwait is his land. Only the British cut it off and made it an individual state. Okay, let's not go back to ancient history. Was he justified? I think yes, at the end, because if he didn't did, he will economically collapse. That's all it is.
I'll get to the second question later. I'm going to give it to Beckett.
Go ahead, Mr. Beckett. Do you have anything?
Well, I think let's turn to the economics then. Like, let's bore everyone to fucking death. Listen, like, you can make arguments for Saddam being a good leader, but again, I don't really get where this comes from in comparison to like people like Gaddafi, where I've heard similar arguments. The living conditions under Saddam weren't good for the average person. Like the idea that there was economic mismanagement and corruption, like, is one of the things that led to the economic conditions where he had to go into Kuwait. Like, and then when we're talking about, like, just generally speaking, I think you seem to accept the fact that America was happy with Saddam to be in power when we're talking about the 1980s, when he's a force against Iran, right?
Yeah, I mean, he's a toy,
Yeah, and he's clearly getting US support. I mean, there's people who claim that he was literally just a CIA asset for quite a while.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah. I believe
so again, if we're in that position, if you're a leader who's got that much protection, and then you make decisions that collapse that protection, doesn't that make you a bad leader?
Yeah, but okay, the war
doesn't that make it bad for your country?
It is. You make bad decision as a leadership, but it doesn't give the reason for another country to blow you up and blow up your whole country and hand you over. And then hold on, and hand you over to your enemy to hang you. This is unbelievable. What happened? It is unforgivable.
It's not unbelievable though. It's not unbelievable. That's the point. It is a historic fact that these things happen all the fucking time. If Saddam was competent, he would have known that was going to happen.
Yeah,
these are not complicated geopolitical things to work out. They're simple.
I can understand, but you can't compare him to Gaddafi. Gaddafi was a terrorist. He blew up planes. He used to support terrorism all over the world. He was a narcissistic piece of shit. He had a lot of issues. Yeah,
he openly
though you gotta give him credit. You gotta give him credit that every Libyans you get, I think, $2,000 a month or $1,000 a month.
Yeah, but that's the question, isn't it? I mean, those people look like internally. Like, again,
they have nothing. But you can't. But Libya was all sand. He didn't develop anything. Gaddafi, he was fucking nuts. He had this green. He was crazy. But Saddam Hussein was not a crazy individual. Saddam Hussein, yes, he made a lot of mistakes. You have to understand the pressure of the United States is big in the Middle East. They come to listen. You got to go and attack Iran. That's it. But we have this thing where we always turn against our allies, the United States. That's why the United States is not a good friend.
Hold on. Hold the fucking phone. I don't think that like stopping Saddam Hussein invading a sovereign nation is us turning against our allies. I think that's why. If you want to make the position that, like, listen, we can't blame Saddam for the Iranian war because it's just all America. And firstly, with that point, again, to good leadership, if Saddam was basically just a fucking puppet leader for the US until he decided not to be, again, I don't think that makes him a good leader. I think that makes him a fucking puppet.
Okay, the idea, okay, let's say he was wrong to invade Kuwait. I'll give you that. But we already went to Kuwait. We pushed him out. We destroyed maybe 80% of his army. We have him under economic sanctions, no-fly zones. So it was solved. We'll solve already.
But let's be clear about something. Okay. Like, the reason why we turned around to Saddam post 9/11 and said, actually, fuck, we need to get rid of this person, is because looking at the Middle East, not only was there no like big stabilizing factor as there had been in the 1980s, which Saddam served that fucking purpose for the United States.
But
It was the argument that because post 9/11, we saw an increase in terrorism with things like Al-Qaeda. We saw an increase in terrorism in places like Palestine, who were openly supportive of Saddam.
Palestine,
In fact, they supported
Palestine.
Palestine's no.
There's no terrorism in Palestine.
Listen, if you want to use different.
They're
If you want
freedom
to use
fighters.
different,
They're freedom
listen,
fighters
okay.
fighting for their country.
I want to be
Don't
real
say that.
fucking no. I want to be real clear about this. When I use the term terrorist, I'll use it about like I have a master's degree in counterterrorism. When I use the term terrorist, I'm using it in the term for like multiple groups. I use it for Antifa. I use it for like things like the IRA. I'll use it for
IDF. How about the IDF?
I'll use it for the like
the IDF, the Israeli army. Can you use it against them?
No, because they're a military force. Because again, these terms have fucking meaning. Like again, you can say that doesn't matter. That doesn't make them terrorists. That doesn't make it ethical. It doesn't defend those things.
State-sponsored terrorism. Can we call it that?
No, because state-sponsored terrorism is a particular thing. So okay, just to be clear on definitions.
It's okay. Hold on. It's okay to kill children and women and occupy people of 7 million, take 80% of their water, their resources, but since you are an organized army, you're not a terrorist. But if you fight back, you're a terrorist. Listen, every Palestinian has the fucking right to fight back. If you are occupied, it is not only is it a human right, it's a natural right. It's a God-given right for you to defend your country and clear your enemy out of your country.
Oh my God!
Israel is an apartheid state. Hold on. Israel is an apartheid state. Israel is an ethno state. Israel occupies 7 million Palestinians and are building ghettos, building roads for Jews only, water for Jews only inside an occupied territory while we watch and give them $4 billion a year, and you refuse to call them a terrorist?
I don't call Nazi Germany terrorists either, because that's not what terrorists mean. Like again, words have fucking meanings. And like,
I'm going to give you a definition today. Israel is a terrorist state. I'm going to tell you right now. Israel is an occupying state. It's an apartheid state. It is a murder state. They killed.
For fuck's sake.
How do you respond to allegations, Beckett, that you will refuse to call out terrorisms like Nazis and?
I don't understand.
Okay, sure. Do you know what? Fine. If you want to use the term terrorist in such a broad term, every country is terroristic. But that is a fucking meaningless word. It's meaningless. And
so you mean the Nazis? Are you saying the Nazis are not terrorists?
No, of course they're not. They're fucking genocidal monsters. But terrorism has a meaning.
But they terrorize They terrorize the whole ethnic. They terrorize the world. They terrorize the Jews. They terrorize the Poland. They terrorize every people. That's terrorism means is when you're afraid or when you put fear in people. What is worse than fear in people and put them in fucking gas ovens? Is there anything worse than that?
Okay, but this is why this word has become fucking meaningless. We're down a fucking rabbit hole. Like again, when we're talking
about rabbit hole, I don't want you to get scholarship. No. Okay, Israel is a terrorist state. I don't care what anybody says.
Cool. So Saddam Hussein.
Thank you.
So is Saddam Hussein. Saddam Hussein is a terrorist.
How?
You just said he caused terror in people, he caused fear in people, he started wars, he committed atrocities. Saddam Hussein, by your own definition, is a fucking terrorist. Are you kidding me? Your definition is so fucking broad. It makes no sense at all because you're just oh my God, Israel have to be called terrorists, otherwise we're giving into the globalists. What the fuck is this? What are you on? Just be listen, they're a military, they do bad things, that's fine. Stop being emotive with your language to try and win a point. It's bizarre.
Are you Israeli? Are you Jewish, you?
No.
Okay, so
what does that have to do with fucking anything?
I know, because you defended genocidal state. I say maybe, you have some personal connection. I just wanted to know that, that's all, because I
debated a fucking word, which you're randomly misusing. To try and make an emotional point.
I told you they killed 600,000 Iraqi children. He said, well, he killed a doctor and they found the doctor's body. Okay, that maybe it's a serial killer that killed the doctor.
No. I used the doctor as an example of Saddam's brutalism.
Saddam was
he did it to multiple other people. He had his half brother executed.
Who's a war criminal?
He had the Prime Minister and Foreign Affairs of Iraq sentenced to death in 2010. He had who else? like another one of his half brothers was also executed. His cousin was executed. His personal secretary and advisor was arrested in 2003 and sentenced to death in 2009. The former vice chairman of Revolutionary Command Council executed in 2007. A senior advisor was arrested in 2003 and executed in 2007. There is a list of this. Like when we're talking about like let's go back actually, because you asked about this earlier. You were like, what was it? The deaths for the Kurds, and you were like, oh well, that was the war in the 80s. Well, then when we look at the 1993 Human Rights Watch put the numbers for the Anfal campaign based on documents captured from Kurdish rebels during the 1991 uprisings, and there was like between 50,000 and 100,000 deaths, and these were fucking civilians. So, like, this claim for you, like, when you're like, Israel's so evil, like, this is his own fucking people. What is wrong with you?
What I'm saying here is, if Saddam Hussein attacked another country, they had weapons, they had tanks, they had armies, they had everything. But when you have a country that was built out of nothing, it's just like you got mugged in Germany, you took a beating there, the Germans and the Europeans gave you land they don't own, to a people they don't deserve, and all of a sudden you are occupying 78% of the country. Nobody's saying nothing. This is yours already, and you're still going after the 22%. You don't want to get. Hold on. Let me go back.
Moving on to Israel now. Is that what we're doing?
We are. Come on.
The Palestinians. No, it is a Palestinian issue, because the reason that Saddam Hussein was taken down, because he was pro-Palestinian and he used to give funds and money to people whose children died there. And the only reason Saddam Hussein and Iraq was destroyed is for Israel's national security. You could read. I don't deal with conspiracies, my friend. I'm talking about facts. I mean, newspapers. These are legit newspapers, not some fucking InfoWar newspaper. I'm telling you. Did you read the article I gave you, Hearts, Mr. Wick? There.
I was able to peruse it. I didn't get into the
okay. Could you put that sound? Could you put the sound effect of the general clock? What he said?
Yes, but y'all won't be able to hear it. My audience will.
Why we can't hear him?
Because for whatever reason, won't. I don't know why, but that is happening.
Well, I want let the audience hear it. Then they deserve to hear it. It's just a 2-minute thing.
Okay, audience,
I'm glad I'm 15, old enough to remember Kuwait before Saddam Hussein destroyed it, and young enough to rebuild it.
Almost heard it. They said they hear it.
Thank you. Let me thank all of our witnesses.
Can you guys hear it?
We've
sure.
past 8 years.
I'm asking.
Yeah.
In the existence
I'm on
of
YouTube. There's nothing there.
Human rights.
All right,
we've had scores of hearings about human rights abuses throughout the world.
Says it's coming. Oh, they hear it. They hear it.
And I know my co-chairman Tom Lantos will join me in telling you that we have never heard, in all this time, in all circumstances, a record of inhumanity and brutality and sadism as the ones that the witnesses have
you should
given
send
us
you should send
today.
something to Beckett, but it's okay. Beckett, you should look
I
it up.
don't
It's
know
called
how
Wesley Clark talks about the war in Iraq. He
people
didn't even
of
know.
the
He said, "Why are we going there?"
civilized
They said,
countries
"We don't
of
know."
this world.
Are we still going there? No, I don't know. This is Wesley Clark. He was the head of NATO.
You know what? I think I'm showing the other one you sent me.
To do everything
the girl, right?
within their
Yeah.
power.
Even the girl, see the girl that started the war.
To
Oh, they're taking
remove
babies out of
this
incubators. They're taking them from
scourge
hospitals. They're taking hospital births. And
from
she
the
turned out to be
face
the
of our
daughter
earth.
of the ambassador of Kuwait living in the United States.
And the
we started a war in 1990 because she
by
went in front of
providing
Congress, and
to
our
us
newspapers were accomplices to that. Imagine Beckett. Imagine the United States looking for weapons of mass destruction in his house, in his castle. How much weapons could you hide in your White Castle? I mean, how many rockets? And the British, Tony Blair, we have the British dossier. I'm talking British right now. That Saddam is able to attack Britain in 45 minutes. The fucking guy had nothing. He had nothing.
Yeah,
but he was
look, again, I'm not disputing that.
The guy was scared to admit it because he's in a bad neighborhood. He has to say, "Oh, I think I got it." And I think I got it someplace. I don't know. I don't got it, but he can't say I don't have it because you live in a bad neighborhood. The whole idea is even Israel in 1981 they attacked when Iraq tried to build a nuclear what do you call it, the nuclear thing, reactor, whatever it's called. You know, they bombed it right away. But in Iran they have like 607. So who's the enemy here?
Okay,
Iran
again,
has hold on. Iran.
Finish your point, Omar, but then we got to give Beckett some room here. So
Okay, let me
go
ahead, Beckett. What I'm saying is that Iran is the arch enemy in the Middle East. They have militia in Yemen. They have militia in Lebanon. They have militia in Syria. They have militia in Iraq. They are using these militia to create havoc in the Middle East. You know why? So they could negotiate and take the sanction off it. They say, okay, you're going to put us under sanction. We're going to ruin the whole neighborhood.
But
Once
my
you
problem,
get,
my problem here,
what we do, we go attack Iraq. Boom.
No, but my problem here is that you are using the like general stuff around what's been happening in the Middle East and a lot of the American foreign policy and stuff that happened post 9/11 to talk about how Saddam Hussein was actually a really good old guy. And the truth is that like this is the problem when people do this with people like Stalin, or any like really contentious figure that people want to sort of whitewash bits of their fucking history. Like, if you came to me and said, I want to have a debate on whether the Iraq war was justified, like, I don't know, that's a very different conversation to the one that I was that I was supposed. No, hold on, let me finish. Because if you want to have that kind of conversation, and then you're still like, well, Saddam Hussein was a fucking bastard to his own people, who gassed his own people and used chemical weapons.
He was not. He was a good guy.
I don't get how you're seeing this though, because
I'm seeing it because I witnessed it. I wasn't back. I know people
benefited.
I know people who in Baghdad, they went to school free from other country. The Iraqis live freely. Women were able to dress as they want, shorts, whatever they like. It was a Western style society. Saturday night, the disco clubs were dancing. People were drinking. Everybody was going their way. You want to go to the mosque?
Let me ask you on that, Omar. Let me ask you on that. Do you see a difference between the Iraq of the 70s and the the Iraq war, Iraq/Iran war? And then afterwards, I would posit that these.
Well, what is it? The 70s.
So, let me make sure I get it right here. Pre-79 coup, right? The pre-79 coup. And after the coup, going into the Iran war, right? Yeah. Saddam Hussein, like or Iraq was different places between these two. Like it was different pre-79.
Yeah.
It was much more close to what you were saying, and then afterwards with the sanctions, with the war, with all these things.
Yeah.
You understand how like when we're talking
after the
about
war,
this, we can't just pretend that it was all the 70s all the time. Like we have to.
No, it was in the 80s. It was in the 80s. In the 80s, everything was good. The only time that he tried to outlaw alcohol in 1994, and the whole government said, "What are you, crazy? You want to turn the people against us?" He turned a little religious after the beating he took in 1990. But Iraq was always a free society socially. As long as you don't get involved.
How is it a free society when
you don't get involved with like me right now? I'm popping a lot of shit. I got a microphone in my house. Maybe they have a problem with that in Iraq. Here they don't. But if I go to the January 6th and start breaking windows, that's a problem, right? So this is what it is. What I'm trying to say that Iraq, compared to its neighbors, people were moving freely. People had their own life socially. Women were they were more professors. Hold on. I just read an article. I think in the New York Times. They talk about the past. There were more women professors in Iraqi university than there were men in 1990. Imagine that. Women were not even allowed to show their faces in Saudi Arabia at the same time. You understand what I'm saying? The whole idea is that, yes, Saddam Hussein made a lot of poor choices. Iraq was involved in a war that should never have been in. 2 wars. The worst war was the Iraqi 9 years that wasted a lot of treasure. But still, during that time, there was a distribution of wealth, free education, free healthcare. They gave money to the poor. He subsidized all major food items. He built roads, bridges. Iraq was not. People think Iraq was a backward country. No, it's not. Iraq was beautiful.
Listen. Iraq, this is one of the things that was said about the first Gulf War. We're going to be there for fucking years. There's like Iraq has a massive military. Okay, let me ask you this: do you think Egypt's a good country?
Right now, Egypt as a people, they're good, but the government is a piece of shit.
Why is the government?
I'm going to tell you why. I'm going to tell you why.
Sure.
Not because it's a dictator. They're all dictators in the Middle East, all assholes.
Sure.
But the Arab Spring came and overthrew all the overthrew them peacefully. The students overthrew all the dictators and all those people there for years, and the United States just watched, didn't do nothing, and the deep state came and put everybody in jail, killed whoever killed, and reversed all the thing they had did in the Arab Spring. They had the Islamic government. I know Morsi, he died already. But the whole idea, I wanted democracy in the Middle East. The United States drove us crazy fucking years. We need democracy. We are fighting for democracy. And when democracy came, the United States played dumb. And everybody came back to power. Everybody went to jail. The students went to jail. And all that waste and energy, the Arab Spring came. Have you heard of the Spring of Nations in 1848 when Europe went to war for, I think it's called the Spring of Nation, right? It's something like that, right?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Oh.
Yeah, when it took 40 years to get their rights. We had that opportunity, but I don't like the government because they overthrew the elected government. I love democracy, and I think democracy will play good. But the United States and Western society, they don't want democracy. They need one guy to control him, do what we want. But if you had a democracy, you cannot bully that country because he's dependent on the votes of the people who voted in. It's very easy.
I understand. We need to give a little bit more time to Beckett, but $5 from Skilltree Gaming to say, to the guy living in the Middle East, what do Westerners need to know about the oil territory conflicts following the dissolving of the Ottoman Empire? Probably a little out of the scope of the discussion, but maybe not. I don't know.
Well, say that again. The
sure.
Disputes.
What do Westerners need to know about the oil territory conflicts following the dissolving
there
of
is
the Ottoman Empire?
You see, people don't know that the evil in the world is. I'm sorry, because Britain is the most evil country in history. All the problems in the Middle East you could trace them back to the British Empire and the colonial people. They drew the maps in Paris of countries that they didn't know how they are. They didn't know what the borders were. They cut countries, tribes in half. You got to understand, Arabia is a tribal country, and they created these false borders that created. Libya has an issue with Shad. Sudan has an issue with Egypt over land. Yemen has an issue with Saudi Arabia over land. Every country had a problem, a border issue with the other country, and it was done on purpose to keep these people infighting so the British could conquer and divide and rule. That's all it is. The guy is British. You should know his history. Your country.
Yeah, I actually, you know what?
You should apologize. Why don't you apologize to me for your evil that you did to the Arabs?
Why don't you?
Because
okay, we gotta give some space to. Speaking of Beckett, the evil British.
That's fucking insane. That would be like me being like, oh well, you're defending Islam. Let's give him an apologize for 9/11. Like, obviously, firstly, hold on.
9/11 is a bunch of idiots. This is a country with a government and a kingdom.
Okay, listen.
I will accept the apology. I will accept. Hold on. Just one word. One word. I will accept the apology for the world, for the third world countries, the India that you guys fucked, robbed, and stole from for centuries. Give the people back their gold and diamonds, man.
Firstly, my family lineage is Irish, not fucking English. It's Scots, Irish, and Jewish.
I love the Irish.
And let's be fucking clear about this.
I love the Irish.
I don't disagree with you that Britain turned around and divided countries up in weird fucking lines. Yeah. Again, I've talked about this. We did it to fucking Africa, and that's caused a whole heap of trouble there as well. Like, I'm not disagreeing with you. Those things are true. And again, you can see the lingering effects of colonial powers on the world stage for a long fucking period of time. That's those things are all true. But again, like when we're talking about like the outcomes of countries, because this is one of the weird sort of like fucking left talking points which you hear in a lot of countries of, well, actually it's a white people's problem. So
are you Catholic or Protestant?
Irish Catholic, of course.
Oh, so you're Catholic. Oh, so you're an ally. You're an ally. Yeah, okay.
Well, I mean,
You know,
we'll
you
see.
know,
I mean,
you know.
Let's let Beckett get to his point.
Like,
Let's
let's
get to
get to some fucking. Let's get.
I want to give a, you know,
again,
yeah, just one word. You know, the best supporters of Palestine are the Irish Republic. You know that the Irish people are the best. They are the biggest people who support the freedom and liberation of Palestine. You know why? Because the Palestinian, trained the IRA in Arabian countries and send them back to fight the British. Just go ahead.
Okay, so that aside, we're now getting into fucking Ireland now.
You didn't apologize for that. It's okay.
What for? What for?
That was a good. It was an opportunity, right? Right, Wick, to apologize for all the.
Well,
the
we gotta let Beckett have some.
All right, Beckett, go ahead. I'm sorry. I apologize.
Listen, I'm not asking anyone to apologize for anything their country has done that is beyond their fucking control. I think that standard is fucking ridiculous.
I will if I did something.
Well, why? Okay, actually, do you know what? Fuck it. Why? Why is it your responsibility? Like, again, this feels like the whole debate. It's like, oh, I have to defend.
No, I'm sorry.
Like, I have to defend the Middle East. Why does it matter? Why does it matter? Like, for you, why does it matter what the wider culture does?
Is it what?
Why does it matter for you what a country you're from does? Like, again, I was born in South Africa. I'm not sat here apologizing for apartheid.
Oh my gosh, that's even worse. Will you remember the apartheid state?
Did you run the apartheid state in South Africa?
Oh my God!
Secretly,
what did you do to me? This guy's even worse. He's worse than the British. Did you oppress those black people and told them that that's not their country? That's not their country. It's even worse. I want you to be honest with me. Were your family supporters of the apartheid state pre-19 before the what's his name, Mandela?
No, we weren't there. Like, I was born there, but my family weren't there.
You enjoyed the privileges of being white there, right? You have to.
Oh yeah, sure.
Thank you. Wick, I got him. The guy's worse.
Like, what?
You got now you have to.
Okay. Apparently,
the
guy defending Saddam Hussein thinks I'm the worst.
You have to apologize. You have to apologize. You have to apologize twice for the apartheid state and for the British. Now you got two apologies.
Will you apologize as a man for all the oppression women have faced?
Yeah. What do you mean? What do you mean oppression? What's oppression to you, the women? What's oppression?
Just all of it. Just generally, all through history.
We don't oppress women in our culture.
Okay, well, no. You're a man. I'm talking about all men. Will you apologize for all men for any oppression that has occurred? In fact, anyway, will you apologize for the fucking Stone Age? I hate these conversations. Listen, if you
want me to apologize, our women are not oppressed. Muslim women are not oppressed. They never are. Muslim women are princes and queens.
Wait, Omar, I have to ask. Are you arguing that in Arab states such as Saudi Arabia, such as Iran, such as Syria, Lebanon, etc., are you arguing that women don't face oppression in those countries?
There's no oppression. Maybe
no oppression. Okay.
I could tell you where. I could tell you Iran. Yes, Iran. They have the issue where they force women to do what they want. I'm
telling you right now that I hard disagree, but that's beyond the scope. I think I hard disagree that women don't face.
I don't know what's oppressive. If you guys, if women are made to wear a scarf, if that's oppressive, I mean, if you define it, that's up to you to define what oppressive is.
Forcing women
if
to wear
somebody is forced to do something, yes.
I told you Iran does. But yeah, the
Saudi
other countries, Saudi Arabia. Well, they're already open now. They have rest and everything. The whole idea is not oppressive. Oppression is when you put women. You beat up women, you put them in jail, like you guys used to burn them as witches. That's oppression.
Hold on.
That's what you guys did.
Journalists are arrested in Islamic states. Women who speak
out. Jamal Khashoggi was killed and cut to pieces. We can't find his body. You talk about women. We can't even protect our men. And the guy, we can't either cut him to pieces and put acid. We can't find his body. I'm not here to defend the oppressive behavior of country, but me as a man in Islamic society, I don't see our women as oppressed. This is the way they live. We live our society like that. As a matter of fact, if you look at here, you guys have an issue here with the male. You have a male identity crisis in the United States and Western society. You're not making any more babies because you have become.
You're an Andrew Tate fan, right?
I like him because he's talking right. But I
Okay,
think that
okay, so you like Andrew Tate, who's talking right, who openly
not everything. I think
openly
men.
admits to running webcam girls, manipulating them, and is currently up on fucking trafficking
don't take me.
charges.
Hold on, no, Beckett. Let's be honest with each other. I think that men should be able to be men in Western society. I think men in Western society have been emasculated by corporate America, by taking the women out of the home in the 70s and give out the women liberation movement. They would put them to work. A man in the 60s in the United States was able to buy a house, send his children to school, come home, his wife is making food, everybody's happy, and one income. Now you have the father and the mother working, they can't even pay their rent, and they have $500 in the bank. Nobody's raising the kids. You know who's raising the kids? YouTube and Google and TikTok. We have an issue. We have a crisis in Western society that men have become emasculated. They're almost women-like, I'm sorry. You have these... We do have it. You have women, the transition stuff, you know what's going on. I never saw that in the 1990s. Everybody's like, I'm a man. Well, I was born a woman. I feel it. And the other guy, I was born. What's going on? Western society has defeated its men. We need strong men. You need a father figure to raise.
Saddam Hussein figure to come in and take over, you think?
No, I'm not talking about leadership. I'm talking about that you need an Omar as a man.
Okay. Do you know what? Fuck it. You're right. Women are the problem. And actually, the reason Iraq fell is because Saddam Hussein gave women the vote. He caused the fall of Iraq by empowering, furthering women.
There was no vote in Iraq. Stop misleading the audience.
Of course there wasn't. But actually, he did give women the right to vote. They just, it's just voting in Iraq was fucking meaningless.
I know we got off the subject, but what I'm saying is that I'm not trying to be an asshole. I think there's an issue here in the United States. We have an issue with the young men here. When you have 35-year-olds living in their woman's basement, their mother's basement, ain't able to get jobs, don't want to go get jobs, living off their father's. That's a problem. A 15-year-old.
But do you think? Okay, so sure, if we want to say those things are a problem, and firstly, again, I don't know how good your history is. Mine is quite good on stuff like this. The idea that women never fucking worked in European culture, that this is a new invention, is fucking nonsense. It's just not true. Women weren't homemakers in the way that like
in 1881. Before 1881, your women could not even own land. Come on, man, who are you lying to? Omar?
No. Actually, fuck off with that shit. When we go back to like the 15, 16, 1700s in like the United Kingdom, for example, women were landowners because it was based largely around aristocracy and family, and they even had the vote because voting was based on land ownership. It's referenced at around like 2%.
Let's go back to Iraq. I don't know about that.
Yeah, okay, let's go back to Iraq.
No, Beckett, what I'm saying is that
now it's getting
what I'm saying.
Listen,
I agree with you. I agree with you. I agree with you. Listen, if that is
Newtown movement.
Your phone is breaking up. I agree with you. If that happens, okay. What I'm saying here in Western society has an issue with this men. You need to make men. You gotta come on. You know, they started with this. The inner child. The inner child. I said, what the fuck is an inner child? There's a child in me? Where is it? The inner child. Get out of here.
Wait, sorry about the band.
Beckett. Okay. I think we've moved off of the Saddam.
Yeah. Let's go back.
Unfortunately, no, but this is interesting. This is good because I'm curious what Beckett would say. So, would you agree with Omar's take here that the Western men are being emasculated, right? And why or why not? I'm curious.
I think people generally have a crisis of purpose and identity. Sure, I don't know if I'd call that emasculation. I think certainly there are groups like trying to push for that. You can see that in sort of like feminist movements. So we need to make like toxic masculinity gone and things. But like ultimately, I think there are also core reasons with our labor markets. People seem to have less drive and purpose. I actually think like the loss of religion is like a pretty major factor.
You guys are not having sex
We're like highly materialistic. But again, like I don't think Andrew Tate is the answer to that. I don't.
No. I don't agree with everything. Don't get me wrong. I don't agree with all that other shit he does. What I'm saying is that there's a survey that Western men are not even having sex no more. They can't get laid. Some of them because it's not you got the incel movement here. You got everything because the problem is they have cheapened the women to a point. They made her a part of the as a tangible object instead of I don't know, man. I think I see women differently. I don't want to go crazy. What I'm saying here is that
Do you think? Okay, let me ask you a question. Do
No,
you
no,
think,
go crazy.
and
I'm curious.
It's not.
Go
It's not
crazy.
a fucking. It's
I
not
was
a
watching.
trap.
I was watching.
I just want to ask. I want to ask this question. You can tie it in. Do you think arranged marriages are a good thing?
Yes. That's how I got married.
Just so I know where we are, basically.
Listen, I'm gonna tell you what. If you had arranged marriages here in the United States, you will not have these incel movements going on. I'm going to give you a subject. There was an Iraqi young man who killed 17 Canadians. Remember, he ran them off with a van. I don't know if you remember his name. It's on YouTube when they did the integration with the police. He's Iraqi. If he's in Iraq, he would have guy married. He would have no issue getting a wife. But since he moved to Canada, he could not get a woman. He was in college. Nobody talked to them. And he's talking about Shads and Stacy's. I was listening to him for a whole hour. I didn't even know Shad and Stacy was until then. What I'm saying is that arranged marriages are good because the ugly and the good looking get wives. You understand?
Okay, but how is that not treating people like fucking property?
It's not property. They give you a choice. It's not like, oh, you're gonna marry. No, it's not like that.
No, hold on. Hold on.
No,
There are. I know people personally their family have been like, we're going on holiday to Pakistan, and they're like, we're going to your cousin's wedding. This happened to one of my friends. We're going to your cousin's wedding. She got there and found out it was her fucking wedding to her cousin. Like again,
no,
this is not like fucking clear cut.
I'm gonna tell you,
it's not optional.
No, Beckett,
she had to go to the embassy for help. So family took her passport away.
Okay, Beckett, that happens in Islamic law. The groom and the bride have to agree to marriage. See, people don't understand that. They're like, oh, no, he has to see her, and they could see her. You say, do you agree? Do you agree? The woman has to agree. People don't know that. You know, in Islamic law, if your husband snores, you have the right to divorce him. They don't know that. They're like, oh, just beat you up. You can divorce a man if he snores. Yeah, my quality of life is bad. Your honor, I can't.
Let me ask to bring it a little bit back on only a little bit back on topic.
Okay,
Omar,
arranged marriage is good.
What do you think about honor killings and honor culture that's plaguing
I think
the Islamic world right
now? I think that's bad. You know why? Because it's a cultural issue. See, a lot of people don't understand that. Even female circumcision. This is cultural. It has nothing to do with religion. I think that's wrong. I don't think you have the right to take any human's life. If somebody's sister, whatever, does something wrong, whatever, you don't have the right to kill or take her life. Who the fuck is you? You understand? Maybe she's gonna fall down in statue within. She's gonna cause the family embarrassment. Some people, you see, it's a tribal society. You have to understand. The Arabs are tribes. They're tribes all over the place. I'm against that. Personally, I'm against that. But am I for arranged marriages? Yes. Everybody gets to get married. Okay, one ugly girl from Britain who has an English accent refused to get married in Pakistan. Fuck her. Give her to a British guy with crooked teeth. Listen, sorry.
Beckett catching strays, but go on.
Yeah, but in Arabia, arranged marriage is good. Everybody gets to get married. The guy who's handicapped gets to get married. The ugly gets to marry. The blind gets to marry. The one-eyed get to get married. Everybody's going to get a wife. The only thing that's a plug right now in Arabian society, Islamic society, is that the dowry. They make them pay. That's the only the issue because they're making it unaffordable. That's all.
We need it to be more socialist. We need socialist arranged marriages.
You will solve a lot of problems.
Dowry stuff.
You will solve a lot of problems in Western society. We have a lot of problems. We got the incel movements. You got people who are lonely. The general, our general, what's his name? What do you call them? The doctor, the head doctor of the United States that said there's a lot of loneliness in the United States, that people are dying because they are lonely. They don't have another, okay, I got 6 kids. I'm got a beautiful wife, thank God, and everything. But there's another guy who's someplace in there just getting, doesn't have nothing, who masturbates to, what's it called? Big Pun? What's that site? Hunt Pun? What is it called?
You talking about Pornhub?
Pornhub or Hub Porn. I don't know what it's called. See, I did that. So
okay. I know what you're talking about. Now. I was like, I don't know what this is.
Listen, it is not that hard to get a partner. It's really not. Like, people just need to.
Don't you think, Wick? Don't you think it's good?
Sorry, incel bros.
Don't you think it's good? Wick, don't you think everybody should get a wife and a husband?
If you want to start a family, yes, I think that would. If you want.
But how do you do that in a Western society if you're not that good looking, or you're not a jock, or you don't have that enough money.
Well, first of all,
or,
I can't speak for the not good looking part. I've never had that
we
problem.
got to get the
but
ugly married.
I will say this. Right? That in Western society, in American culture, getting a partner is both simultaneously easier and harder than people think. I think that people put too much emphasis on certain qualities that they should not. I think we need to all lower our standards a little bit, and to go for people. Don't go for the 9s and the 10s. Go for the 6s. Okay.
Yeah, they're probably the best ones. The 6s are probably the best ones.
What you can get.
The Arabs have a saying. The Arabs have a saying: "Ugly for me and not beautiful for everybody." He said, if you get a 6, he said, I better have ugly for me only, not a 10 for everybody. Everybody's chasing out while you're away at work. So the whole idea is that the Western society has to deal with this issue. They have to. It's necessary because you have these young men. You have these young men. You have these men who are not able to release their manhood, or sexually and physically and intellectually and socially. They are living. They are forgotten. I mean, I'm saying, if a kid, he had a degree in Canada, I think it was.
First of all, I apologize to those just coming in. This was about Saddam for the first portion, but now it's not. Now we're
American social issues, guys.
Now
we have to hit
somewhere else, and so
the whole issue is that this is the Western countries
are
not having babies.
Like
they are declining.
Do you think the rise in LGBT rights is a bad thing?
I think it's okay, but you can't force it in other countries.
Okay, you can't. That's an interesting statement. You can't force it on other countries. Do you think people should have to modify their behavior based on the country they live in?
The United States, I think that if the law, this is me. I'm liberal but I'm not like WhickTV. He's probably way left. Well, I believe that whatever the law says.
You hear that, Katie? I'm way left, but go on.
Yeah, whatever the law says, I adhere to the law of the United States because we live under a social contract, and that social contract tells us how to behave and how to treat others.
Do you think the treatment? Hold on. No, because you've answered my question. Do you think the treatment of Muslims in France is understandable considering France's political situation as it comes to religion?
I think France has an issue. The Arabs in there are like the blacks and Spanish here, the inner cities. They live in these projects. They don't have access to distribution of wealth. And they're angry. You have these young people who are unemployed. The same thing we have in the United States. They are the minority. They are the black. The Arabs there are the black people and Hispanic people of the United States. That's what it is. And you have the French. They have these laws. You can't wear the scarf. You can't wear this. You can't do that. They are interfering, calling Islam. Instead of embracing these people. And bringing them out, they're
again, like in
them.
France,
the French are very.
The French are very. All religions this way.
I tell you, the French are very fucking. They are very, very rude people. French. I've been in France, and they are very rude the way they talk. They need a smack in the face before you talk to them, because I try to speak to English to one, they would not speak English to you. I told the lady, if it wasn't for us, you'd be speaking German. Right? I told her, I said, if it wasn't for us, you'd be speaking German. And I don't know if she understood it or not, but she should get an idea what it is. The whole idea is, you have how many? There are like 5 million Arabs there, right? And in France, there's a lot of Arabs, Algerians, because France has been Algeria. You need to deal with this population. They're French citizens.
Okay, but the question
I'm not familiar with the social issues that like I'm with the United States.
So let me like explain the social issues. So the social issue with France is post-revolutionary France. Religion was outlawed in revolutionary France. Yeah. The church was kicked out. Even now, they are highly suspicious of religion, and like you cannot wear like religious symbology in certain public settings, which is like the through line of like where we are with kind of Muslim. Do you think that's reasonable then? Because that's the culture.
Okay, if it's for everybody, it's okay. I don't have no issue. I think these people need jobs. That's all they need. They need access to the wealth. This is the problem we have in Western society. Like for the United States, 87% of family wealth is in the hand of white people. While the blacks have 4% or 3%, and the other 4%. That's crazy. when you have so much wealth in one place, while the other is just watching, you're gonna have social issues, social turbulence once in a while. We need that to even in the United States. We don't have distribution of wealth. The United States, 2% or 10% own all the wealth of the United States. Even these whites, even the whites here, even the whites in the Southwest, they think they have privileges. They don't have nothing. They're fucking poor as me. Oh, I'm white. I got privileges. You're gonna take my privileges away. You don't have nothing. You don't have nothing, redneck. You are poor as me. We are in the same boat. You should vote like me. Me and you become one person and get these people, these elites, out of the way. We gotta vote the same. Stop voting against your interests. God damn it, Wick. That's our show, Wick. That's our pilot show. Me and you, huh?
Are you a Trump supporter?
No way. Trump supporter. That's a.
No, you said elite.
Not because he's a Republican. He's an idiot. That's all I did. If he was another Republican, I would respect him. He doesn't have any.
Fan?
No, DeSantis is a fucking meatball. Excuse me. I'm from New York. He's the kind of idiot we smack around in New York. DeSantis will melt. He doesn't have any personality. He's not strong within debate. You're gonna see him. But the whole idea is that you know who I like? What's his name? I think it's Chris Sununu from New Hampshire. What's his name? The governor of New Hampshire who had made a good president, Republican president. I would have voted for him. I will vote for a good Republican once in a while.
But you wanted a strong man, and like you wanted Saddam. Would you want a Saddam-like leader for the U.S.?
No. You see, you're making a mistake. I'm telling you, for that neighborhood, he's good. I said it in the beginning. Yeah, but okay. I'm a liberal piece of shit here, man. Come on, man. He'll execute me. I'm the first person. Me and Wick will be in line to get executed. You understand? Under Saddam Hussein, because we're so liberal. I don't know.
What are you talking about? I would adjust and adapt to my circumstances to save my own skin.
Wick's a fucking
what I'm saying is that
if we were in an authoritarian state, Wick would be the first one. Like,
we cannot
how
have
can
that.
I get super chats off this authoritarian state?
You know why I don't like Trump? Because he doesn't have an ideology. That's scary because you don't know what he's a transactional individual. He's from New York. I understand his language. Everything to him is, how much can I make out of that? You know that general they killed, that Iranian general? That $2 billion that Jared Kushner got, that was from his head. Remember when they killed that general in Iraq? What's his name? Qasem Soleimani? He was our ally. He was helping us beat the ISIS. And there was this craziest thing that one of the advisors to Trump said, every time we had a conversation with Iran, I said, why don't we kill this guy? He kept on saying, because they're like, oh, he's not doing nothing. He's helping us with ISIS. I mean, we were enemies but indirectly we're helping each other. And he got paid for that guy lovely. That was an assassination. That general, you know what I'm talking about, guys, or no?
I know the assassination of the Iranian general. I'm familiar.
Yeah, that was a paid. Trump got paid for that, and I'll bet my whole life on that. Because we had no reason to kill that guy. He's only hated by Saudi Arabia and the Arabs there. Okay. He was an ally. He was helping us fight ISIS. He was doing us. He was doing our jobs.
I want to ask one more Saddam-related question. I know.
Sorry. Why, guys? Sorry. Fuck Saddam.
We'll do one more Saddam Hussein question, then we'll go back to fucking red pill stuff. I never get to talk about red pill stuff.
Okay. So
I mean, we should have a show, all three of us.
This is for both of you.
Okay?
Yeah. Given what we know now about the state of Iraq today in 2023, was it wise or was it good for the U.S. to remove Saddam Hussein from power? Yes.
Can I go first?
You can go first, but Beckett has a chance. You do tend to talk over Beckett, so we're gonna try.
I'm sorry. I'm so excited to be.
Okay.
I just like cameras. I love cameras.
Go.
All right, Wick. I apologize. Apologize to you, Beckett.
You're fine, buddy.
Honestly, I get good vibes from you. I swear to God, I like you a lot. Really, I really do. What am I say that?
It's been fun. I like you. I like a good heated.
Yeah, the mistake we made is we did take Saddam Hussein, but we should have left the power structure on the Ba'ath Party because the Ba'athists were in control. They kept the people in check. What happened is, what we did wrong is we dismantled the whole army in one night, dismantled all the civil servants, everything, and we tried to build Iraq from scratch. What we did we created all these cantons, like of Shias, Sunnis. Everybody is in his own foxhole. And we gave power back to the mullahs who are supported by Iran. Right now, Iraq is a state vessel for Iran. Iran has overran Iraq. Socially, economically, militarily. They have these militias, Iranian militias, 40, 50,000. Iraq is not a country right now. Iraq is a fragment of pieces. The government is stuck inside the green zone. They can't leave the green zone. The people in power are the mullahs, because the Shia are I'm Sunni. The Shia are like the Catholics, like they have a leader like the Pope and things like that, whatever you say goes, but they're more extreme in their view of religion. They follow autocracy. I don't know how to call it in English. But the whole idea that Iraq is bad right now. Saddam will not been in power now. He'll been probably 80. He'll been dead from old age. But they should have left the power structure. Iraq has always been a Sunni country since its founding. And it's always been the doorway to the Arab Gulf. What I mean by the doorway, it has been always the protector of all from Iran and Iran's influence from getting into the Gulf. That's all it is. We made a big mistake. We killed a lot of people. We created a lot of orphans and millions of orphans, millions of widows for no reason at all. And the only war criminal right now, he's in Crawford, Texas. He's painting in a basement. And if there was any justice in the world, he should be in Europe, in The Hague, put on trial and put in jail in Europe for war crime. That man is called W. Bush.
W. Bush, war criminal, according
he's
to Omar.
He's a war criminal.
Yep. Beckett, I want you to have some uninterrupted airtime here to
so
answer the question, maybe respond to what Omar said.
Sure. In some ways, I think we'd probably actually end up agreeing. I think I've talked a fair amount about state building issues. The West is not very good at it. Fundamentally, we misunderstand cultures, which is the problem that a lot of countries run into. It's one of the reasons that China's Belts and Roads project, despite having huge amounts of money and economy put into it, is failing really fucking badly. They just don't understand Africa. Fundamentally, state buildings are actually surprisingly simple. We can see this from like the outcomes. But very simply, it's the DMV theory. Basically, what you need for a country to function is local government. You need people to be able to get permits, and you need people to be able to do things. One of the things that we saw in the aftershock of Iraq for the first 5 to 10 years was basically people wanting to build things. It takes 9 months to get a permit. And these kind of fundamental failures of local government building are one of the reasons that a country just doesn't get started again. What we tend to do is we go in and we just replace the regime and we assume everything else works. But almost right, we dismantled basically all the systems that let anyone do anything. And those systems weren't fucking great to begin with at the point when we came in 2003. So there really was no hope. Iraq's not unique in this case at all. A lot of it's to do with how international theory worked at the time and what we believed would work. But it's also the reason that we ended up staying in so long. And you see similar things with Afghanistan, right? Afghanistan, in key cities, you can see a very liberal democracy growing, which was then torn apart basically over a weekend as the Taliban came into power. But also when you're changing a culture, it doesn't take 10 years, it doesn't take 20. You're looking at 2 generations. So at least. So if you really want to go in and dominate, you have to spend time doing it. Now, the question, though, is was it right to get rid of Saddam Hussein? I don't think we had much of a choice once we were actually in, generally speaking, his people were not fucking happy. Let's be clear about this. I mean, I know
everybody's
Omar,
not happy in the Middle East.
Yeah, listen, people have pulled down statues and everything else. He'd already been depowered. When you've seen that happen to a dictator, you can't leave them in power anyway. It would be like if we went into Syria, beat Assad to pieces, supported all the rebel forces, and then we're like, okay, well, here's your fucking country back. Yeah, but ultimately, once we made the decision, that wasn't a choice.
You know why we kept him, right?
What, for Assad?
We kept him because he had all these people that fight him, all these religious groups. If he was to be toppled, you had all these. You have a mayhem at the end. You created 10 ISIS.
We couldn't.
10,
really
you created 10 ISIS. Listen, let's see. Let's be honest. Afghanistan pre-1979 was a liberal. Women were walking in shorts. Everybody was happy until we came in. We brought the Mujahideen and we said, "Come and fight. You're going to go to heaven." The United States did that. Even the Crown Prince said it when he came to us. He said we became religious because America told us to. They build they got these mujahideen. They call the Arabs to come and fight the Great War
Okay,
against.
I just want to be really clear on one thing. Like, it wasn't just America; it was Pakistan and it was Saudi Arabia that pushed a lot of the fucking shit with the Mahdi.
No, but these are these states were used as puppet states, but the CIA was the head honcho. I lived in the United States. You know they had a recruiting office here in Brooklyn, New York, to take us to Afghanistan. If we go to the mosque, they say, "Young, hey, come here, young man. You know, Mujahideen, you want to go to heaven?" In the United States, they were doing it. Come on, man. The CIA.
I don't know if you can say this is entirely CIA, because there is a long history in Islam of sort of pilgrimage militia fighting, like going to a country that's at war to defend an Islamic country.
Afghanistan.
This is how Osama bin Laden first cut his teeth as a terrorist in Manji. He went to go and support.
Beckett, God bless you. Afghanistan was a communist country pre-1979.
Yeah.
We created this mirage. Go look at the magazine, High Time, all this magazine. We made heroes out of the Mujahideen. We gave them training. Do you think Saudi Arabia is able to think on itself? Saudi Arabia can't even get out of a fucking brown bag if they get stuck in it and that. So we used that. We destroyed. This is what we did. Hold on. We gave them weapons. We recruited. We helped recruit. We told Saudi Arabia to the mosque. You should have seen it. I was, a lot of people in Arabia, the mosque, every Friday. Go die. They said the martyr's blood smells like perfume. They were saying this shit where with this, the angels, we saw angels come and pick up the martyrs off the field. There was some of these kids, they went there, they radicalized them. After the Soviet Union collapsed, they left them to their own devices. Now they know how to make bombs. They know how to war. They know how to fight. They have no education. They have no place to go. Of course, they're going to do what they did. We did that. Everywhere we go, we leave. We went to Iraq. What we did? We left ISIS. I think we produce these things us. We do it. You think ISIS would have been there if Saddam was there? No. Come on, Beckett.
Oh, what? Sorry. Okay. Sorry. Yeah. Okay.
Do you think we have ISIS if Iraq was the same state, even without Saddam Hussein, if it still had the structure, the power structure of the Ba'athist Party? I don't think ISIS would exist in Iraq.
Okay. So on that scale, probably not, because again, like it's taking advantage of it's taking advantage of a post-war country. But the idea that there would be no terrorist growth in Iraq is highly, highly skeptical.
There was nothing there before that.
There was nothing there when we're talking like pre-80s and pre-90s, pre-20s, 2000s. But when we've got like what was growing in the Middle East, like Iraq wasn't considered trustworthy enough to not have those cells at least be able to operate in its borders. Because again, those cells were targeting Israel, and like again, Saddam was a big supporter of Palestine. Yeah, I know, but so he had an incentive. He had an incentive to allow those groups to grow.
You have to understand, they saw Saddam as an infidel because his ideology is a socialist communist. The Ba'athist doesn't believe in God. The Ba'athist structure, they saw each other as enemies. They saw Saddam as an infidel, a person who doesn't believe in Allah, and he saw them as terrorists. Before they are religious freaks. He used to tame down religious aspiration inside Iraq. He used to destroy it right away if there's any movements, because he was seen as an infidel, a person who doesn't believe in God. Because the Ba'athist Party is called a resurrection. That means that there is no God. They had resurrection in Arab. It dealt with Arab Arab panavism, whatever the word is. And socialism and a bit of communism. Even they say that they had a saying, "Al-Hayah Madda," that life is a product. Like what you eat, like it's nature. You understand? So the problem is they saw him as an enemy. Iraq was good for that region. You had the good there. The only issue is that it was done for Israel's national security. Iraq was destroyed. Iraq was destroyed at the behest of
this, because I'm not sure this is like a fair reading. This is a reading of Saddam like in the 80s, but like post the Gulf War, Saddam came to emphasize more seriously with his religious identity. He used it prominently in public discourse. He used he utilized religious symbolism. And he seemed to increase his oppression against religious minority groups. So the idea that Saddam Hussein couldn't be seen as sympathetic to more.
I want to tell you what happened. When he saw his army collapse in 1990 and became the country weak, that's what they do. They go to play with people's feelings. God, then they start using God.
But that's the question, isn't it? Could
Yeah,
we trust Saddam Hussein not
but
to
he will
lean
never
into
allow.
that?
It's
And the
like
answer
that.
is
Okay,
no, probably not.
no, but you can't trust Iran. Iran has like 10 militia all over the place. Why does Iran get to live and the other guy gets to die?
Well, because we're not prepared to go into Iran
Because
situation.
because we're pussies when it comes to Iran. That's what it is. Anyway, I want to ask you something.
Sure.
Why can't these countries have weapons? Why can't they? I mean, is it only for white people or what?
Yeah, why
What,
can't
weapons?
we have massive weapon? Why can't the
Can't Iran? Why can't
Middle East?
Why can't Iran?
Why can't the
Why can't
Middle
Iran
East,
have a nuclear weapon? Why? I mean, I don't see it. It's a culture of 1,000 years.
Beckett, please
Yeah.
answer this.
They are hold on. They are proud people.
Yeah.
They have
Sure,
hold
go
on. Let me give you the history of Iran. They have never invaded any country before the Shah. I'm not talking about modern history. They have not even committed one terrorist action. The last time they did was in 1982 when they helped kill 242 American Marines. After that, they gave the terrorist file. They gave it to the Sunnis. It's smart. They knew terrorism was going to destroy them. Iran has not committed any terrorism against the United States. The only thing it does, it creates militia and it creates instability in America's allies in the Middle East. They're very smart. They say, we're not going to go after the Americans.
Well,
we're going to go after the puppets.
Let me answer the question. Why, in your opinion, let me just make it
Yeah, why
shorter,
not?
right? Why would it be bad if the Middle East, Iran specifically, got weapons of mass destruction? Beckett?
Why you gotta call it that? Why you call it that?
Because that's what they are, weapons of mass destruction.
Yeah, but mass destruction has this tab.
Yeah.
No, Wick. The word mass destruction has this weird thing with
Wait, hold on. Wait, weapons of mass destruction has a weird like connotation, but we've got to be super broad about terrorism. Seriously, come on.
No. In the mind of the vehicle, because that's what they were taught.
Yeah, that's what terrorism does. Okay,
why can't?
I want to explain myself. So nuclear
Beckett,
weapons
the question
has
is
a connotation. Okay.
Okay, you're right. I'll give you that. Why can't Iran have? Why?
Beckett, answer the question.
Sure,
I have an answer.
Sure. The reason Iran can't be allowed to develop weapons of mass destruction is a threefold issue. Firstly, we can't trust the regime, and we generally don't trust theocratic or dictatorial regimes where the sole thing is, will the leader survive? Because historically, we go, well, that person is much more likely to use nuclear weapons. They do not fall under the deterrent umbrella, which is generally how we treat those umbrellas, whether we're talking like Britain, France, America, South Africa, multiple other states. We understand those to be deterrents. And we also, the reason we call it an umbrella is because it's not just a deterrent for that nation not to be attacked. It's a deterrent for all the other nations surrounding them to be protected. The Middle East is not stable enough for an umbrella to be established. That's one of the reasons we push back.
Well, you have 7 million Jews who have 200 nuclear weapon heads inside they are holding hostage 1 billion Muslims, scaring them with those weapons. Why did you give
Yes, but we also
it's okay for Israel. It's okay.
We trust Israel not to. We trust Israel. Hey, well, listen. We can debate whether we should trust Israel to do that.
Forget about Israel. How about North Korea? North
Korea's development is difficult, and the problem is
when we're looking at
it is difficult because if we invade North Korea, we're very likely to end up in war with China. In the same way that if we'd invaded Syria, we're very likely to end up in war with Russia. And the lessons of the world wars.
We're talking about nuclear weapons. We're talking about why are they allowed to have nuclear weapons?
It doesn't matter because the thing is, listen.
I'm gonna ask you a question.
If in a worst case scenario, we had to go into Iran to invade them and take them over. Let's say the very worst case. The international fallout for that, with other states becoming involved, has a low priority chance of turning into a massive geopolitical conflict. But if we go into North Korea, the chances of a massive geopolitical conflict are really fucking high. And with Syria, and that's the calculation you have to do when talking about who to invade. And we don't need to do that with Iran because we can stop them developing nuclear weapons.
I can tell you, and I'm confident 100%. If Iran had a nuclear weapon, there will be peace in Israel. Israel will come to the table and negotiate like a good boy because they know they're going to get a good hit. But right now, it has 200 nuclear warheads. Nobody has the weapons. Hold on. Nobody has the weapons they have. They've been negotiating with the Palestinians since 1989. to free the territory. Since 1989, they have 1 million settlers. How do you negotiate while you're selling people's land? Because there is
Can we be clear about something? If we were talking about this in a reverse situation, if it was an Islamic state encroaching into a Jewish state's territory, we wouldn't be able to have the fucking conversation because there'd be no Jews left. How many countries? How many? No.
You see,
There are countries in the Middle East where there are one Jew. There is one Jewish resident to like 100. Like
you don't know.
We're not talking about the Middle East like it's the West. If it was
listen. Oh,
no, you gotta let Beckett finish his point, and then you can respond.
Okay.
Omar, go ahead.
He just made a big boo boo.
No. We all know that if this situation was reversed and like it was just a Jewish state being encroached upon, they would be wiped off the map because the assumption would be that the West would do nothing about it.
Okay, I'm gonna tell you why. First of all, you guys killed 6 million Jews in your continent. That's first thing. Jews enjoyed the best relationship, with Muslims throughout history until 1948. Jews enjoyed, they were merchants, they were advisors. Even the Spanish Inquisition, when you were cutting people's balls in Spain, Jews ran to the Arab land. We lived as neighbors. In my village, we had Jews. We never saw them as, we were neighbors. The only time we got nationalism is when the British came and told us, oh, nationalism. We don't know what nationalism is because the Turks used to rule us. We don't know the Turks were different than us. We didn't care. Then the Jews enjoyed great relationship. We never have issue with the Jews as Jews because we never had anything. Give me crimes that we have committed against Jews in our country. The only time they left is, I'm going to give you, in Egypt, they don't want to leave. You know what the Mossad used to do? They used to put bombs in movie theaters where Jews used to go to scare them to migrate to Israel. They used to commit terrorist acts against their own people to get them to leave Arab lands. In Yemen, we still have Jews in my country. They silversmith, they make stuff like that. You have to understand, we don't have an issue with the Jews. We have an issue with Zionism and its idea. We have an issue with the Zionist entity, the Zionist thinking, the Zionist playbook, the Zionist terrorism, the Zionist occupation. Jews as a Jew, we have no issue with them. They are our cousins. We share the same. We are Semite. I'm an Arab. I'm a Semite. So
okay,
you say
Jewish individuals moved on. They had their assets confiscated and seized by the state and countries such as Iraq, Egypt, and Syria.
Hold on. What happened?
Their assets were seized and they were moved out.
No, they would never. Nobody was forced out. A lot of people.
No, they can stay.
Hold on. I'm going to tell you experience from my country in Yemen. In 1948, we had a lot of Jews in Yemen. A lot of villages. They're empty right now. If you go to see them, they're all empty. Then they said they got to go that Israel, that God, Moses, they all left voluntary. A matter of fact, the economies were hurt when they left because they were part of the economic vibrant of the countries. Nobody confiscated anything. And nobody wanted to leave because if they left, they're going to create a state. It was in our interest to keep them in our country. So without people on the land, they can't have a country. You understand the whole idea? So it doesn't make sense for us to kick them out. Nobody kicks anybody out. People don't understand this. Israel enjoyed the greatest moment in history was in Arabian country and Islamic countries. They were not allowed to go for 4 centuries. They were not allowed to go into Britain. Look at the history. You had programs. What do you call it? Programs? We used to beat them up once in a while.
Answer
you used to
for
say
your crimes, Beckett. Come on, British.
Listen, they used to have. There's a history. They were not allowed to go.
I'm not listen. I'm not denying Jewish oppression in Europe.
No. He's a South African. Leave him alone. He's not even European. He's even worse. He was an apartheid guy. Listen, let me finish. I'm just joking with you, Beckett. What I'm saying is that people misunderstand. Oh, the Arabs hate Jews. No, we don't. We don't have no issue with the Jews. Are you nuts? There's Jews in Yemen right now, in my country. They live in the mountains with us. Nobody's protecting them against it. There is no issue. Our issue is the idea of Zionism. Zionism came from Europe. You guys killed 6 million Jews. You felt guilty. Instead of giving them some land, a piece of land in Germany, you should have given Germany. You should have given them one province as a payback for what you did to them. Instead of you had the Balfour Declaration. You know how Wick, the whole idea with the Balfour Declaration it is Zionist Christians, these evangelists. They have this idea that if a lot of Jews filled up Israel, it will bring the rapture of Jesus. Even now, American Christians, Zionist evangelists, they give a lot of money. They say, go there. The whole idea is to bring Jesus back, then tell the Jews, are you going to become Christian? No, then they get to kill them. It's like a marriage of convenience they have going on. It's been going on since the 1890. Imagine American Christians, they support Zionists, but are not able to support Christian Arabs in Palestine, who are Christians. They've been Christians since the time of Jesus, who live in dire poverty, are beat up every day by the Zionist entity that called Israel, and they don't help them. So the whole idea is, if somebody comes and lies, we don't have no issue with Jews. I never had anything.
I am curious for Beckett to answer
See the shirt?
this question. This will probably be the
it
last
says Palestine.
question.
See the shirt? It says Palestine.
Sure.
This will be probably the last question before we go to closing.
No, we're not going no place. I'm enjoying this conversation.
Well, I'm glad you are. I'm glad. And gang, if you are enjoying this conversation, you're watching this show right now.
I wanted to donate, but
know.
I can't donate.
You gotta support the channel through super chats, through subs if you're watching on Twitch or Kick, through bits. Those things let me know that this is the kind of content that you want to keep seeing. So if you like this kind of thing,
just quickly, because I'm just we are talking about Yemen here, because according to one report, there are 6 Jews in Yemen, 1 woman, her brother, 3 others, and one other who has been imprisoned for helping smuggle a Torah scroll out of Yemen. And this is December 2021. So I feel like I'm being fucking gaslit. Maybe we need to have another debate.
Hold on.
I just don't really get why this take is so fucking out of left field.
Hold on. See, you have this British hiccups. That's what it is. Get a drink of wine or anything so you can relax. I'm going to explain to you what's going on. Yemen has been under civil war since 2015.
Okay, no, they're under civil war. That's fine.
Hold on. A group of Houthis who are supported by Iran, who are the minority, have taken over the country. There's a lot of people in jail. There's a lot of people dead because of this group that took over the country because Iran supported them. So you cannot judge that. But I could tell you that my father, may he rest his soul, explained to me. He said, son, we used to live with the Jews, no problem.
Okay, what about
most
Egypt?
Of the,
what about Egypt?
Egypt had
like 10
Egypt had what when?
Like this is like the census numbers for like.
You have to understand, Egypt had the most elite Jews in the Arab countries. They're very educated. In the 1950s, I'm talking about the 40s. Yeah, they were movie makers.
They're not dead now, though, are they?
I told you the Mossad used to blow up bombs in Jewish theaters to scare them to go to Israel. This is the known fact. You know what one Zionist said, leader of the Zionist movement in the 1940s? He said, 1 cow, a Jewish cow in Jerusalem, is worth to me more than 10 Jews.
Okay, look, I'm going to say, look. Okay.
Hold on. It's worth more to me than 10 Jews in Poland.
Okay, can we? I'm going to say because I know Wick wants to wrap up. I know he wants.
I got to donate for.
Yeah. Donate more money. Yes, please.
Can I donate even if I'm part of the show?
Yes, you both may donate to me. And in fact,
what the fuck is this?
I'll declare the winner.
Wick coming in with the you can buy a fucking win.
Yes, you absolutely.
No. No, it's not that. Wait, hold on. I forgot my password.
No, take your time. Take your time. While you're doing that. I want to. Beckett had a thing, but I have a question for you, Beckett, too. But finish your point.
I don't have a point. My point is stop trying to shill me for money. Okay. Like Jesus fucking Christ.
So
what's your question?
To you?
Can't do it. I can't do it. I don't know. Something's wrong with my password.
You can. That's fine. We'll get it.
Next time I'll double it.
Next time you'll double it. I'll take it.
Okay. Listen. First of all, wait. Beckett,
hold on, can I have the question?
I don't want you to smoke no more. Beckett, I don't want you to smoke no more.
Well, you can't tell me what to do because I'm a free living Brit.
I'm going to tell you why. My brother was diagnosed with COPD, and he quit smoking 20 years ago. Imagine, and he has emphysema. You know what the lifespan is? Almost like 5 years after you're diagnosed. So if he quit 20 years ago and smoking caught him up with him, I want you as a friend. I never met you before. I'm going to give you good advice. Throw that cigarette away, vape if you have to, and Every puff you take, trust me, when you see those people, they can't breathe, they're walking oxygen tanks, you will know what it is like to breathe. You understand? They told him he has 2 to 5, 7 years to live. I don't know, but, but the whole idea is, I know this is off topic, it's a little dark. I saw you smoking, and I said, I'm going to talk later at the end of the show. Don't smoke, man. Okay?
Sure. Well, look, I appreciate your concerns on my health,
Yeah,
and I'm sorry for your brother.
save your life. That's what I'm saying. Okay, go ahead. What was the question, Wick?
I'll struggle to remember it. We have gone
I'm
all
crazy,
over the
right?
map here. All over the
Okay,
map
yeah.
here. Beckett.
Anyway,
Let me finish. You gotta let me.
okay, go ahead.
This is my
Go ahead,
process. I'm talking
go
through
ahead.
it. Please.
I'm
If I
sorry.
get
Go ahead.
interrupted in my process, I'm not going to be able to finish the question. Okay, so Beckett, we have talked a little bit about Israel and Palestine.
Sure.
What is your solution? Do you think we have a 2-state solution here to this? What would you say is the right move going forward when it comes to Israel-Palestine?
I think that's, well, thanks for giving me that at the end of the show. I appreciate you.
So,
So it's a really difficult one. Ultimately, like, the situation is down to like how Israel views itself in the region. It's become more complicated over time, not less. I don't think a 2-state solution is likely, but then, like, we said the same thing about Northern Ireland and the Republic. So it is, never say never, I guess. If you want if there was a quick fix, it would be to basically engage with one of the other states in some way to work out a move from for the Palestinians out of what is their land, to stop basically Israel displacing them by force. That is probably like the lowest casualty choice, but it's, again, very unlikely. It's difficult because I can see the position of, well, we should have a 2-state system, but honestly, both cultures fucking hate each other. That's not just not going to occur. And at the moment, like, the West is never going to turn around, nor is Israel with its current military situation, and just sort of cede the land and be like, well, we'll just close Israel down. It's not going to happen. So I'd say engagement and displacement, which is not a comfortable answer. It is probably the closest to an honest truth, though.
Okay.
Can I answer or?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, that Israel doesn't know what it wants to do. Israel has a dilemma. Israel wants to remain a Jewish state. At the same time, it has a problem. The problem is they have other human beings living with them. The population of the Palestinians is about 7 million, and they have a higher birth rate than the Jews. So if they bring to the 1-state solution, they will become a minority in 20 to 30, 40 years. Israel now occupies as Israel, a sovereign state. The people got different names. There's Israel and there's the occupied territory. So people need to understand. The sovereign state of Israel is 78% of the land, and it's occupying 22%. And there's about 5 million in that occupation. It already cut off Gaza by itself. Because this is what the plan is. They want Gaza off. You have 2 million people in Gaza. They call it the biggest open prison in the world because everything that goes in has to go through Israel's hand. Israel has built a lot of settlements, and it's so racist, these settlements. They are walled to themselves. They have their own roads, and they're using 80% of the resources in that region. While the majority of Palestinians are only left with 20%. They cannot farm, they cannot do anything, and they take their land every year, they settle. What's the end game? Are they going to have a final solution for the Palestinians like the Germans had? Or are they going to do ethnic cleansing and move them over to other Arab countries? Something is going on here. You don't want a 2-state solution, and you don't want a 1-state solution. So I asked the Zionist states, what do you want? Tell us what's the solution here. You have 200 nuclear weapons. Most of the Arab states are your friends now. You can't claim that you live in a sea of sharks. Everybody's your friend. You have more weapons to destroy the whole Middle East. So what's the end game here? You celebrate, my Jewish friend, you celebrate Passover as the time that you left Egypt as a slave, and you said, let our people go. I want you to let the Palestinian go. Either you embrace them as one nation with you and you share the same land, or give them their freedom. It's very simple. You cannot say you're afraid of them. They're going to destroy Israel. Nobody could destroy Israel. Israel is a nuclear state. It's a nuclear state. It has 200 nuclear weapons. Nobody. I think if Iran had a nuclear weapon, Israel would negotiate in good faith. Right now, there's no reason to negotiate. You get $4 billion every year from the United States. So every bullet you shoot is paid for by American taxpayer. Every tank. Maybe if you cut off that aid and you start paying for your wars, you'll probably think twice because it will hurt you financially. At the end of the day, it's not a conflict. It's not a complex situation. There's an occupied and there's an occupier. Very simple. The occupied need to leave, and the occupied need to get their freedom. Don't be fooled by these media in the United States. That's what I gotta say.
Okay.
And
okay, gang. This has been. Thank you for coming. I try new things. We tried different formats here. It's been a minute since I've hosted a one-on-one debate of this style. I know we did one Friday, but that was a little bit different. So I hope you enjoyed it. If you enjoyed it, please remember to hit that like button if you're watching this on YouTube. Hit that subscribe button. Throw some super chats my way. You can do it even when it's not live, I promise. You can also, if you want to support the channel, go on my Twitch and follow me there. Or
you don't have a patron.
And throw on me there. I don't have my Patreon live yet, but it is in the works. Gang, where can we find you, Omar? Where's the link to your channel?
I don't have the link right now, but it's the third Omar, the third rail with Omar. I don't stream a lot though much because I've been sick, but I'm a liberal streamer who's conservative on social issues, but I'm still a liberal piece of shit. So if you like liberals, come to my channel. All right.
Check them out, gang. Check them out. Beckett, where can people find you?
Hey, 𝕵𝖎𝖙. You can find me on Twitch, YouTube, and Twitter. Follow me on Twitter. Yeah. I don't know. Are we doing closing statements? I don't think we need to. I think we've gone to fucking
we just ruled the whole world.
Counts as that. So.
Nobody did a shot question. Nobody did.
There was one super chat. But yeah, today, I don't know where everyone is. So who knows?
It's a Sunday.
I think a lot of people are watching the 𝕾𝖍𝖎𝖙 stuff, right?
Yeah, no, Sunday.
The 𝕾𝖍𝖎𝖙 stuff. Yeah. So that might have taken all my viewers, but that's okay. It's all good. For now though, I'll say adieu to you. So bye-bye, gang. And we're not ending the stream. I do want to talk to you one-on-one, gang, like chat.
Okay.
Right? But I will talk to both of you again. I love you all. Bye. Okay. Wow. Gang, I don't know how to deal with that kind of thing, right? When every issue under the sun comes up in a debate that is supposed to be focused. I try to keep us on track and topic with questions, but at the end of the day, if your interlocutors want to talk about everything under the sun, there's only so much you could do. That's what we did, gang. That's what we did. Gang, did you enjoy it, though? I had fun. I thought it was fun. I thought it was fun when it went off the rails. I thought it was enjoyable. I thought it was cool, okay? I hope you did, too. I really do. So let me talk to you about what we got coming up this week, okay? Because I think it's important to discuss what's going on with the channel and what we have planned for the future. So me and Omar have been talking about doing a dual stream, like a regular dual stream. I don't know what we'd call it or how we'd brand it, but once a week we'd be on together and we'd just take callers. We'd discuss issues of the day in kind of a relaxed format. Is that something you would enjoy, or do you think it would be terrible? Please let me know in the comments if you're watching this not live, or just chat now. And I'm very curious to see how you all think that would go. I did Why Does Twitch TV Hate Me? I've also done it with, if you guys remember her back in the day, wasn't Katie. What was her name? Oh man, I forget her name. Oh, this is terrible. Kyla, not Kyla either. Is Wick terrible? Wick is terrible. But I had a regular guest for my Tuesday call-in show. And we had a regular co-host. She was great. But life came up. She couldn't do it anymore. I really enjoyed her as a co-host. And so I'm looking for some kind of co-host thing that I can do on a regular basis. Same time, every week. That would just be interesting. Smugbug changed genders? No, it wasn't Smugbug at all. John Harrison says, I'm going to rewatch it because this is an injury subject. I like this format. Not Lav. No, I don't think Lav wants to be my co-host, first of all. I don't think she wants to. And I don't think that would be wise. But no, it wasn't Lav. John Harrison, well, we tried to stay on subject. I'll tell you that. But little spoiler alert, it did not stay on subject. We went a lot of places in a lot of different directions. But it is what it is. Even when things go unexpected, I think it's still possible to have interesting conversations. And I liked those interlocutors. I do think Beckett should have been a little more forceful with his interjection, but you know, it is what it is. Kamikaze says, I think a permanent co-host is painful. Why? Why do you think it's painful? Prussian Menace says, I felt like Omar and Beckett have two different styles and it didn't lend well to staying on point. Exactly. They were coming at cross purposes, let's say. They very different ways of communicating, and it lended to both Omar having a lot of speaking time, as well as Beckett just chasing him down every rabbit hole that he led, rabbit trail that Omar led him on. So interesting. Sorry, kiddo robbed you. I had fun. Nudes on Patreon. Yo, if you pay me enough money for nudes, okay, I would give them to you. But it would be more than I think you're willing to pay. Let's say that, okay. But yeah, if you drop some bands on me, I can hook you up. But I don't think you'd be willing to spend that much money. They're not worth it. Trust me, okay. If you want to see dick pics, you can. The internet is full. Okay, of these things. You don't need Wix. I promise you. Kamikaze says, I'd be an awful co-host. Well, maybe. Maybe you would. I've only had you on a couple times. But I think you'd be better than you think you would. How's that? But I said I was going to tell you about what's coming up with the channel. So the Omar thing's one. That is possible that we will be doing this. Our first show, our pilot episodes, planned for the 25th. So if you're interested in it, check it out. This week, tomorrow, we were supposed to have Sunday on. Saturday was the original time he was supposed to come on. But he was sick, so he pushed it back to Tuesday. He has informed me that he wants Vosh to moderate, and Vosh has agreed to moderate. But he can't do it Tuesday. So, frustrating, right? I would love Vosh to moderate the show. It would be interesting. It'd be great. But he can't do it tomorrow, so we have to do something else tomorrow. So that sucks. But do a hot tub stream instead. Oh, don't tempt me. Don't tempt me. Wednesday, I'm going to be having on Origin of Language, and he has some bones to pick with me, so we will pick them together. That will be a shorter stream, though. I don't suspect it going too terribly long. Thursday is kind of the flagship show of the week, that if you only can tune into one, Thursday is the one you want to do. We will be having quite the guest list on. Let me read it out to you. Boom. Getting there a second. Give me a minute. Okay, on the 20th, we have Corey Campbell. We have Dak Katie. We have Allison. We have Sad Kit Kat. We have Gorpsink, and we have a potential special 6th guest. Okay, coming. Still trying to confirm 100% for sure. But if she says yes, that would be a pretty big, interesting discussion. But the topic is going to be kink shaming. Is it ever okay to do? Under what circumstance? Should some kinks be shamed? Or should we just let people, grown adults, do what grown adults want to do? If they are cognizant and acceptance of the risks, why would they, why would they say, boo? Why should we even get involved? We will see, right? It'll be fun. It'll be a fun discussion. So tune in on the 20th at 6 p.m. Eastern. That Friday. Why Katie? Because she wants to come on. I think she has an interesting take on it. To be clear, that is why. Okay. But if the person I ask says yes, it won't be the most controversial person on the panel. Let's say. Friday, we are going to have on Counterpoints, and we're going to have on Pixie, and we're going to have on a couple others, perhaps, to talk about recently a tweet that Counterpoints made about how one of the reasons he married his wife was because she comes from a good family and she has good relationships with her dad and her father, right? A lot of people took issue with this. A lot of people were big mad at this take. A lot of people said that Counterpoints was implying that people who don't come from good homes are worth less and not worthy of dating, not worthy of having attention and being good partners, that there was a moral failing. We're going to discuss it. We're going to bring on Counterpoints to answer directly for his relationship take crimes. Pixie will be the accuser. We will see how that goes. It should be fun. It should be very, very interesting. We'll find out. Roland Stott, we're not talking about kink at Pride. This is kink shaming in general. So to add some context to this, Planned Parenthood put out a tweet recently saying don't kink shame. Okay, don't kink shame. Kink shame is bad, etc. Quite a few people responded pretty angrily. Let me read you what they said. Give me a moment. So Shay, whoever that is, responds with this. Don't yuck someone else's yum is such a juvenile, sugar-coated way of saying don't shame people for strangling and beating their partners to get off. So we're going to talk about that, right? Is that a fair characterization of what Planned Parenthood was saying? Is that a fair characterization of people who are into choking and these other kinds of more extreme kinks? I don't know. We're going to find out. Fun. Interesting discussion. But that's this week. What I want to talk to you guys about, what I'm curious what you would, what your opinion, what kind of content do you want to see from me going forward? Because I've been looking at the metrics. I've been looking at what people watch, what people don't, and things like that. And I'm curious what you guys want to see overall, right? What is it that you want from this channel? What kind of content do you want? What can I give you that you would be interested in paying for? That's what I'm asking, right? That is what I'm asking. Is what kind of, do you want more drama stuff? Is that what you want? Do you want more religious talks like I did with Eucharist the other week? Do you want more one-on-ones like we had tonight? Do you want panel shows like I normally do? Should I stay the course? What do you think, gang? You tell me. Very curious. But yeah, keep that in mind. If you want to participate in the discussions that we have, go to Discord and join up. Message me or talk in the general chat about what it is you want to see. Sulfur says, I like one-on-ones, but I'm bad, so don't listen to me. Well, if enough of you like it, and enough of you tell me you like it and are willing to pay for it, I will do what you want, right? Because this isn't just my show, it's your show. Now, there's certain things I just won't do, right? There's certain things that I have no interest in. I have nothing. It's not entertaining to me. So I just won't do it unless you pay me copious amounts of money. But even then, I'd be hesitant. I don't like drama stuff that much. Some is okay. Some is interesting. But if I don't want to become a drama channel, I don't want to become a TMZ kind of channel. I'm not interested in that. right? So if you want that kind of content, now here's probably not where you're going to get it. But when it comes to debates on topics, I'm flexible in the types of topics that you want to talk about, right? That you want to hear about. I'm very flexible in that. I'm also flexible in the type of guests that you want on. Do you want it more guests, less guests? Do you want more big names? I can try to stick to the bigger names. But one of the things that I've enjoyed doing is introducing you and introducing to the rest of Twitch poll and to the larger YouTube kind of sphere in general, smaller guests. Sulfur says, I'd love to talk to Connor about violent stuff, but I stand him, so I don't want to have angry debate bro words with him. I just think he may have an interesting perspective. Maybe, right? And yet you continue to bring on Katie. Gang, if I bring on Katie, much more of you watch the show. Okay. Gonna be straight with you. First of all, I like Katie. I don't know why you guys don't like it. Well, I do know why you guys don't like Katie. I'm not ignorant of the fact. But I like Katie. I think you guys get mad on my behalf more than I do. I don't get mad when people talk shit about me. I just don't. Not in general. There are certain behaviors that will make me angry, right? That will get me mad. But Katie just disagrees with me, and she does so in, I think, a little bit of an acidic way. But that doesn't mean that I don't like Katie. I think Katie's great. I think she's fine. And to be clear, you guys tune in. My numbers are way higher when I have her on than when I don't. So you guys can say you don't like Katie, but come on. Come on. You guys are tuning in. I gave you money and watched your talk with you, Chris. And thank you. Thank you for that. I want to do more of that if it's something that you want, right? If it's something that people want. Now, if just one of you wants a thing, it doesn't matter, right? Apologies, right? But I can't cater to single individuals. I have to cater to my paying customers. The Vigilante TV says, I mean, if he does one on necrophilia, Katie would be perfect for that. What does that mean? Am I missing context? What does that question mean? I don't know what that means. The growling arachnid says, I like discussions that usually actually go somewhere. Instead, they usually stalemate and we don't progress. Well, we try. The growling arachnid also says, exactly, you tards. I leave when Katie goes on. Well, I'm sorry you leave when Katie goes on, but again, well, most people leave when she like. I want this to be profitable. I want this to be something that I can make money at. And so in order to do that, I have to do what most people want to an extent. I can tailor it. I could be niche. But yeah, I guess I'm just saying I need more support for the slower days. When it's a slow day like this, but you're really enjoying the content, I need more financial support during those days, right? When I have the 100 viewer, 200 viewer streams, I get plenty of support, right? I get plenty of financial support. But those types of streams, usually feedback I get is that the people who like these type of streams don't like those types of streams. So, yeah, I just want to make sure that my audience is generally happy. I want to make sure that my audience enjoys the content, but I also want to make sure I get paid. Straight up. WhickTV, you are missing context. LL, someone mentioned doing a debate on necrophilia, and I was joking about Katie being perfect because she talked about necrophilic brothels with Sick a while back. Fair enough, I am missing content. Okay. Talking about beating a dead horse, though, or choosing a weird hill to die on. I don't know. I don't know about, like, why is necrophilia interesting to debate about? Maybe it is to you. I have no interest in a necrophilia debate. The dog fucker panel was interesting to me because people were actually fucking dogs. If you brought me someone who actually fucks a corpse, okay, we could talk about it, right? I'd be very interested. But bring me that person. I don't want to talk hypotheticals here. I want to talk with I want to get it from the source, if you will. It might be funny, but in order to be funny, I'd have to talk to a necrophiliac. I'd have to talk to someone who enjoys it and who does it, or who, maybe if he can't admit to it publicly for cost reasons or something, but someone you know, we know. Tegma TV, wait, what did I just walk into? Tegma, we're talking about what people want to do with my show, like what I want to do going forward. It's my birthday this month, to be clear with you guys. On the 31st. I don't know if we'll stream that day because it's weird to stream on my birthday. I know you're more likely to give me money, but at the same time, it's my birthday and I don't want to work on my birthday. So we'll see how it, closer to time, we'll see what goes on with that, right? But coming up in the month of August, right? Coming up in the month of August, I am looking to make some changes to my content to continue to grow if I can. So I am just doing a lot of research, trying to get a feel of what my core audience wants. And so I can not lose sight of why you were watching this place. Yeah. John Harrison, have it the day before or after. Practically no one knows your actual birthday. True. And I probably will do it on the day before or after. Probably the day before, honestly. It's a big one, too. I'll be 40. It feels weird. I don't feel 40. In most ways. Some ways I do. It absolutely is a weird experience to be as old as I am in a sea of youngsters. I forget sometimes how young most of you are. I do. I forget. Because every once in a while we'll be talking and I'll realize that there is a fundamental disconnect of experiences. A fundamental disconnect that I'm not getting or you're not getting. And that is based on the ages we grew up in, the environment that existed when I was going through high school and college is fundamentally different than it is today. And so sometimes we miss each other. Not on purpose, but it is what it is. Are you a Gemini? No. A Leo, sir. John Harrison, I'm 27. What's your average audience age? Is about 25, 24. As far as I can tell for the metric. The average engagement age, I think, is a little higher. I am hip with the youth. I don't know about that. Sulfur saying, "Oh wow, you skew a bit older." That doesn't feel older to me, and that's also maybe why I don't get as much. I don't get as much attention as some of these youngsters, right? Oh, you guys been watching those NPC things? Someone paid me $50 to do this. Okay, but I'll do this. So, Disco, if you're watching, here you go. Ice cream so good. Slurp, slurp, slurp. Yum, yum, yum. Gang, 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 gang. Ice cream so good. Ow. Ow. Yum, yum, yum. Ow. Yum, yum, yum. Ice cream so good. Gang, gang. Grr, grr. Cap, cap. Gang, gang. Ice cream so good. There you go. Yo, you laugh, but these people make hundreds of dollars doing this. Hundreds of dollars. Yo. Was it worth the $50? Was worth the $50. I hope so. Like, gang, if you want to pay me money to do silly stuff, ooh woo, I'll give you the ooh woo. Ooh woo. Ooh woo. Hey, $50, I'll ooh woo for you. Why not? $200, I'll dance for you. Again, if you want to donate to me to do things, I absolutely will, right? It's got to be enough to make it worth my while. But yeah, if you want to see me do silly things, if you want to see me do or say interesting things, again, get what you pay for. Jenny Burns says hundreds? No, thousands. They make thousands of dollars. Look, they make thousands of dollars. They are winning capitalism. I understand that I'm not equipped the same way they are. I don't have the same type of equipment, but I guarantee you there's a market, okay, for older, white, bearded men to do weird shit. I guarantee you there's a market for that, okay? We just got to tap into it together, gang. We got to find the market. Do no spicy like that TikTok chick. No spicy. I don't know what no spicy means. But I can do weird stuff. So if you guys throw me some bits, I'll read what you say in a sexy voice, okay? Testy Johnson, can you download that and link me to that on Discord so I can share with the person who paid the $50 for it? That would be beautiful. Thank you. It was some super famous Asian girl doing about a year back, and now everybody's copying her because it's successful. You have to realize, gang, that most of this space is derivative. It's not innovative. Almost nothing in the streaming world is innovative. Most of it is derivative with iterations on the content that makes it unique or makes it more interesting to whatever niche they're targeting. That's all it is. It's mostly derivative, iterative stuff. It's a problem. Innovation very rarely catches on. It's difficult. It has to be astronomically good to penetrate the market. It has to be astronomically interesting to get into anywhere. Gambling was the last frontier. I don't know how I feel about that. Gambling in general. I am generally against promoting gambling to minors, right? Or to in places where I know minors might watch. I think gambling is bad to promote to society in general. But I also understand that we need to give people freedom to make bad choices. So I think when it comes to gambling specifically, right? It's okay to allow it to happen, but I don't know about promoting it. Sulfur says, I'm going to channel my crystal girl woo-woo shit right now, but the Leo makes sense. I see you, Leo Wick. You're going to have to explain it to me. You're going to have to explain it. What about what I'm doing makes me a Leo? What about my personality? Sulfur, are you available? Jump backstage. I'm curious. I'm going to pull you on. I want to interrogate you for a little bit. You got a minute? Yeah, right now. You got a minute? Trying to do a little more solo content, right? I know some people have asked me to do more solo content. Drama Llama Panorama says, why is everyone suddenly fine with gambling as soon as Kick appears on the scene? Well, because it's making a lot of people a lot of money. That is why. It's hard. It's difficult. Because I know if they came to me with a number, there's a very big possibility I might say yes to doing gambling content. Because with my financial situation such as it is, it's very hard for me to say no to money. It's very hard for me to say no. Wait a minute. How are you multi-streaming? I thought Twitch made that. Shh. Omni, shh. You didn't see shit, okay? You didn't see shit right now. Oh, Sulfur, hello.
Hey.
Hey, you got a camera for us so people can see you?
No, not. It's almost 10 here, so I'm.
Oh,
no
okay. You live in one of those weird time zones. Gotcha.
I am. Yeah.
Okay, but you said I had Leo energy. So can you explain that? Because I don't know what you mean.
Well, I mean, it's just woo-woo crystal girl shit, but no, you just you embody the Leo. It makes sense. The performance and enjoying just having fun.
So
that's it.
See, this is my problem with the woo-woo stuff, right? Because it's so vague that you can apply this to almost anyone, right? Not all streamers are Leos.
Oh God, no.
No? Why not? Why is loving the performance not a general streamer characteristic, but why is it specific to me?
Well, I think some people are like into attention. But some people really enjoy performing, like playing it up. But I mean, it's literally it's not founded in anything. It's you know,
Got you.
it's
On a
woo shit.
more on a slightly different note, since I have you
Yeah.
here, right? What do you think about Sunday pushing it back yet again? What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, oh my god.
Can
No,
you
I
give
know
us can you give us for our audience your general read of President Sunday? I'm curious.
about Sunday. I mean, I
Let's talk
have
some shit, right? People like shit talk. Let's talk some shit on President Sunday. Go ahead.
um no, he's abrasive, but that's not news to anyone or to him. I don't think anything I could say about him, he'd be like, "Wow, that's I can't do a voice." I don't think I can do a President Sunday voice, but um no, like it's just not we're gonna butt heads, I think.
Come on,
But
people want you to sell the fight, okay?
what?
This is gonna
Oh,
happen, right? It's
well,
Vosh is gonna moderate, but it's not gonna happen tomorrow. So we're trying. So
mm,
have you ever watched boxing?
like what kind of boxing?
Any
Kickboxing?
kind of fight, like
Yeah, yeah,
wrestling?
yeah.
So before the fight, they bring out the fighters. They sometimes interview them. They have a weigh-in sometimes, right? And there's usually some smack talk or some kind of posturing and things like that. So I guess what I'm doing now is I'm trying, unsuccessfully yet, because you're too nice, okay? But what I'm trying to get you to do is talk some shit so we can sell this fight, okay?
Oh, I'm trying to be a good faith Andy right now. I yelled at someone last night, so
This
you
is my
know.
team, gang. We're gonna lose because they're too
We're
good
not gonna
faith.
fucking lose because I've been writing. I'm so prepared. I have all of the materials to like send to him or his team. I don't even know. Like I wish like I don't know who his teammates are. He should bring Haas. It would be funny. Also there's an energy between the two of them that I think is funny. But no, like Sunday's like an asshole and a bit of a cunt. So that's my take on Sunday generally, but I don't think he would disagree with that.
Fair enough.
Um,
No, I mean I don't disagree.
I don't know anyone who would. Um, yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll
Well,
see what
thank you for
happens.
coming on. Thank you
Yeah,
for at least engaging with me. And again, I'm sorry I invited you to this, but it keeps getting postponed, pushed off. It annoys me, right?
well,
But we'll do something tomorrow, right?
yeah, sounds good.
Okay.
All right,
For now,
bye.
see you later. Bye.
Ciao, ciao.
Fighters. I need people to throw some bows, gang. I need some people to talk some shit. Okay? What we need in this channel. Shit talk. Drawing Arachnid. What's the debate about? We're going to talk about political violence versus nonviolence, the morality, the efficacy, all that. If you saw my Andrew Wilson debate last, when was it? Thursday? Yeah, I think it was last Thursday. If you saw that, you know what you're kind of in for. Hopefully without the semantic games. Okay. So yeah, we're team nonviolence to be clear. That's why we're so good faith, I guess here. But I do want some shit talk. I think shit talk's okay. So I am excited that we're going to have Vosh moderate because I think that it's just going to be more eyeballs on. And I am very confident in my position. I think Andrew Wilson looked like a fool. I think he got bodied in front of his audience. He knows that. He's been trying to set up another debate with me on something else, which I'm not against. We just need a good prompt, something I'm interested in debating him on. But I think it would be, again, I don't think I'd like to do it all the time, but every now and again it's good to punch down a little bit and keep myself fresh on that, but we'll see. I enjoyed it. I hope he did too. I hope it was profitable for him. It was profitable for me. But yeah, definitely not against it. Definitely not against it. Again, I just needed a topic that I think I can defend that's interesting. Like the nonviolence one, I am very confident of my take here. I have sources to back it up. I have arguments. both moral arguments, pragmatic arguments. I think it's just it's a winning position. I'm a hill I'm willing to die on. David versus Goliath, but Goliath wins. I don't know if I'm Goliath by any means, but yes. Allison, I'll tell you later. I'll tell you later. Don't worry. I'll answer a DM, but I'll answer it later. I'm not gonna name names till we get some more firm answers here. Any other questions while I'm here, gang? Any other thoughts that you would like to put forward to me to talk about? I don't know where you all are today. All right, usually I have like 5 times as many people in my YouTube chat. I don't know what's going on. Testy Johnson, you need to do more streams with booby streamer co-hosts. Okay, fair enough, right? Am I not enough for you, Testy? Am I not enough for you? Come on! Look, I'm no Coomer. This isn't a Coomer channel. But I understand that people like more aesthetically pleasing things than me. Is what it is. Anything else? Here we go. There's something big. The big thing we got coming up this week is Thursday. That's the kink shaming panel. That should be fun. Should be interesting. Omnislap says I'm a punching down enjoyer. Omnislap, you've had troubles the last couple times you've been on my show. You've had troubles. You have not been punching down. You've been struggling as blows have rained from above. Okay, let's not lie to ourselves. It was a struggle. You had some troubles. Okay, that's okay. We all take L's time to time. Jesse Johnson, RB. Who is streaming right now? You know what I mean. Let's see who else is on tap here. Sansel. Let's go to Sansel. You guys want to raid Sansel? I want to raid Sansel. I'm gonna raid Sansel in a minute. He raided me a couple times, so let's raid him. Make sure you tell him it's a hate raid, and I'll see you guys later. Cool? Cool. See you guys. I don't know if we'll stream tomorrow or not. I might take the day off. See you guys.